Hey, everybody, and welcome to a healthy wild ride with Steve-O. We've got the healthiest guy on earth, and I do believe that that is measurably a fact. That Bryan Johnson, by spending over $2 million on anti-aging protocols, has actually made himself the actual healthiest guy on earth. If you haven't seen this documentary on Netflix called Don't Die, I'll tell you, it's wild, it's weird, and it's awesome. And how fascinating that we've got this guy trying so hard to not die sitting next to me, a guy who's been basically trying to die forever. And, you know, I just wonder what the Vegas odds would be on who's going to live longer, me or Bryan Johnson. Tough to say, but he's got all kinds of fascinating answers to questions that I was dying to ask him. And I think you're going to really, really enjoy this. We enjoyed the hell out of it. It was like, what, almost 2 hours? Crazy how much I enjoyed him. So let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the universe, I bring to you the man who's trying to live forever. Yeah, dude, Bryan Johnson.
Man, this is cool to be here. It's really cool to be hanging out with you.
Well, thank you so much, man. Sorry, we've got a special co-host today, the beautiful Coral. You guys have been introduced. We watched your documentary together, and I thought it would be important to have the perspective of somebody who's like really young, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much I want to...
Well, that's me.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, so we got that covered.
I love that. How old are you now?
Biologically or chronologically?
Chronologically.
47.
Still 47.
Yeah.
So wow, that's a very current documentary. And biologically, how old are you?
Depends on the body part. If it's my penis, it's age 18.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. If my diaphragm, age 18. My sleep scores, early 20s. My heart is 37. My left ear's 64. My brain is 41.
Wow.
Yeah, so just every part of my body has a different age. Like, you think about this, if you look at a 2-year-old and an 80-year-old, you can see they're clearly different ages. And then if you get more narrow and you get in, you can basically tell the organ of the age of an organ by how it looks and how it functions.
Okay, I had heard that. I had heard that different organs age differently. I think that the first thing, when I think of what's it called, anti-aging.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think of anti-aging, I think of my dad. He's 82 years old.
Yeah.
He is terrified of dementia. And I mean, like, really terrified. He like and he has early stages of it.
Yeah.
So I just think, man, like whatever could be done to reverse
Exactly
that. Like, I'm all in for that. And I was looking at the plasma transfusion. Is it plasma transfusions?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So by you're effectively flushing the blood of a younger person through your body.
That's right.
And that's just rejuvenating you. And because you do it with your own son, I would imagine that the DNA, the closely linked genetics, like, makes that more effective than if you had some random 18-year-old.
Yeah, it's blood typed. So it's just, he's A positive, I'm A positive on the blood type. As long as you're matching on blood type, you can do the transfusion. But like, to your dad, my father's in his early 70s. So he called me one day and he was in a panic. He said, Bryan, I just wrote this thing for work. I walked away, I got something to eat. I came back and it was a jumbled mess. And so he makes a living and using his mind. Like, it's a really intense mental task to do his job. As we said, I'm terrified. Like, I'm absolutely just like panicking because, like your dad, I mean, when your mind begins slipping, like, what could be more terrifying? You're losing your mind and you can't see it. That's pretty scary.
It's awful.
So that led to so I said that in that conversation, I said, okay, Dad, we're doing this research right now on these plasma transfusions. If you want to give this a go, like, I'm down. Like, I'm happy to give you a liter of my plasma. It's experimental. We don't know if it's going to work, but like, I'll do anything to help you out.
Yeah, and your dad's also A positive?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, so your son, and what's your son's name?
Talmage.
Talmage. He gives you his plasma, and then you give your dad your plasma.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating, and people just love to hate on it, huh? Vampire,
They
like,
do. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
man. So now, what else is your dad doing to combat dementia?
He has totally turned his life around. Like it's night and day. People at work can't even believe what's happened to him. So that phone call kicked off a bunch of stuff. So I was doing my thing where I was trying to become, basically the world record holder in anti-aging. I was trying to create a new sport out of it and do something no one had ever done.
And you've accomplished that, yeah?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, basically we're number one in the world on this. Yeah.
It is demonstrably, measurably
Yes.
a success. Okay.
Yeah, we have third-party receipts for everything. Everything has a lab result. We publish the lab results.
Right.
And so, yeah, I basically said, okay, Dad, let's do this. And so I put him on my entire protocol. I said, this is what you eat. This is what you don't eat. You need to exercise every day. You need to go to bed at this time. I mean, not this time, like in this way. And he has just turned his life around. He's just crisp and spry, and he has no aches and pains in his body, which is insane. He's been obese for a lot of his life, but I'm really proud of him. Like when you're early 70s, it's pretty hard to change your habits, but he does. He does. Like he's done it, and he's a different person.
So you said you have him on your own whole protocol.
Mm-hmm.
Is sauna and cold plunge, like I've heard that's really good for dementia?
Yeah, I haven't seen the evidence specifically for it. Like the thing that makes us unique is we use scientific evidence for everything. So take a given thing like cold plunge.
Yeah.
We'll say, look at all the scientific evidence ever published on whole cold plunge. What does it say? Like, and what can we form with a strong confidence? And so otherwise, before I got into this game, you could hear someone say, like, cold plunge, I feel so great, and it really helps me feel good. But there was no one measuring like what actually is happening in this given phenomena. So we take an approach where we just look at the evidence and say, what does the evidence say? And then we measure it in ourselves. And so he doesn't do cold plunge. I don't think he does sauna either. Not to say that it couldn't be beneficial. Just the evidence around sauna this is kind of technical, is called observational, which just means that you look at a bunch of people who do sauna and you form conclusions based upon observing the data, versus interventional, where you control a study, where you say, these people have cognitive decline. We're now going to put them in the sauna, and we're going to say, what does the sauna do for their cognitive decline based upon like whatever markers they're looking at? And does it work or does it not work? And you can then create a rigorous study on how to do that. So I guess I just say that really long-winded answer to say that usually when we try to answer a question, we try to be incredibly precise and say, the science says blank.
Right.
And so that's what we know, and then here's what we don't know. Now you can make a decision. So if my dad wants to do cold plunge and sauna, fine, but at least we know baseline, what to start, and know what to measure. Is it working for him or not?
Man, I thought that there was pretty compelling science for sauna and cold plunge. All these people in Finland.
Yeah, exactly. So that's observational data.
Right.
So it's not to say that it's not correct evidence or good evidence. It's just it's a weaker form of evidence than interventional data.
Right. Okay. What about stem cell? Is that part of the program? Have you done that?
Yeah, I did that. And so first is anybody who's thinking about stem cells, be really careful, because there's a lot of stem cells hold this bridge to like promise of it fixes anything, but it can also be very dangerous.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so you want to be very careful. A lot of people will go down to Mexico or the Bahamas.
I went to Colombia.
Oh, no. Okay. Tell me what happened.
I went to Colombia with a guy who's just got an insane amount of world records for skateboarding.
Yeah.
His name's Danny Way. He jumped over the Great Wall of China like on a skateboard. And famously, his body has just been a disaster.
Yeah.
More surgeries, no cartilage in his knees. And he went there to set a world record for the most stem cells. And I went there because I have degenerative disc disease in my neck. And, it hasn't reached a point where I have pain or, limited range or anything like that. I went there largely preemptively. So it's difficult for me to really point to, how much better I feel, because I went there knowing that it's an issue and trying to stave off.
Yeah.
And so I'm just a bad case study for the
Yeah.
efficacy of
Do you
it.
know what kind of stem cells they used?
They used stem cells from what you got umbilical cords.
Okay. And you did it injected in the spine? Was it in the actual?
They did local
Yeah.
where they punch it into specific areas
Yeah.
in my neck, and they flushed it through our whole what you call it circular.
Yeah, just an IV drip.
Yeah.
Just okay, cool. And then did you measure anything? Did you get an MRI or anything of your spine or of your neck prior to?
I did. And I don't know that there's been a follow up. This happened in 2021. So if there's been improvement, it would be the time to look.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I was going to actually talk to you. I mean, after your very playful life and doing stunts, I would imagine that you've got like a lot of stuff going on.
I think that consensus is chiropractors, doctors generally are shocked that I'm not in worse shape.
I arrived today expecting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That guy with the cane.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. You move around really well, and so
Right. Yeah. And I really have become quite proactive about my health.
Oh, cool. What are you doing?
A lot of cycling, bicycle, a lot of hiking.
Yeah.
Those are my two main things. Beyond that, I cut out flour and sugar.
Good. That's great.
We got to talk about this.
Yeah.
I was doing so well.
Yeah.
I was doing so well with my diet. Like in anticipation of my 50th birthday, I really decided I'm going to get in the best shape I've ever been in my life. I think I accomplished that. No snacking, just 3 meals a day, and no flour, no sugar.
Yeah.
And then while I've adhered to the no flour, no sugar, I found these little loopholes.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
as one does. Yeah.
Are you familiar with Quest bars?
Yes, I am.
And Bear Bells?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love them. I love them.
Yeah.
And shout out to Bear Bells. They heard me raving about how when I'm like on the beam, when I'm really doing well, that's my treat.
Yeah.
As opposed to when I'm off the rails and it's all Reese's and the rest. And they caught wind of that and sent me just cases of Bear Bells. And if they want to do that again,
on the path to addiction. Yeah.
And so recently I got on a protocol of just not more than one of these sort of healthy candy bars per day.
Yeah.
And I recently relapsed. Speaking of which, today's my sobriety birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'm celebrating 17 years.
Damn, that's impressive.
No drugs and booze.
Good for you.
Well, thank you. So that's a big thing.
That's a tough thing to kick.
I mean, right. It's a lot tougher to continue the way that I was.
How do you celebrate? How do you congratulate somebody on a 17 years? Is it happy birthday or is it what is it? What's the language?
I think in I got sober in California. We call it a happy birthday.
You do call it happy birthday. Okay,
yeah. It's definitely a birthday where I come from. We even give cakes at
sugar-free and flour-free cakes.
Well, right. They actually encourage sugar for people who are newly sober. But in any case, back to the sugar-free candy bars. I've been eating like 3 of them a day now. It's awful. But how awful is it? That's my question.
Yeah. Okay.
The stuff the sugar. What's worse, the sugar or the stuff that?
Yeah. Okay. So to catch up on a few topics that we went through, one on the stem cells. So I would say 3 things to be mindful of stem cells for those of you who are listening. One is what I would do is you want to make sure the stem cells are produced according to like clinical grade stuff. So they call it GMP manufacturing. So it's just like a validation process to say these cells are legit. It's not like you're buying them off the corner.
Right.
So a GMP grade manufactured stem cell line. 2 is having stem cells measured before the injection. So just when you're on the table, before you're going to be injected, you want to see the stem cells are alive, not dead. You want to make sure there's not junk in there that you don't want in there. So that quantification before injection is really important. And then 3 is measurement. So
the count of how
exactly.
many cells are.
Well, yeah. Also, but you want to if you're going after your neck because you've got a problem, you want to get a baseline with an MRI and say, here's the situation before, and then after 6 months or 12 months, do a second MRI to say, did it work? Because then if it works, you can be like, great. Like now I've got a GMP grade cell line. I can inspect the cells before they're injected, and then I can measure whether it works or not. And then you have confidence, like, you know what, this worked really well in my neck. Maybe I want to use it for my elbow or my knees or my wrists. So it's that process of measurement and follow-up, which is like the sauna as well, the finish. Like it is, like you look at the observational data, it's great. So you can do another level of study. Like I'm going to do this study myself in sauna. I'm going to measure like 50 biomarkers and say, here's my baseline. Here's what I'm going to do the sauna protocol and see what happens. So measurement is like a superpower in health because then you don't have to mess around doing stuff that don't work.
Right.
So that's, yeah. And then same as, so then with the diet. So we put out a diet recently, my team and I, called the Don't Die diet. And it's a plate and it has all the foods that are good to eat. And so the approach we had is we said, every calorie that enters my body has to fight for its life. Like if you just put it on a power ranking of like the most powerful and best foods in the entire world and go from number 1 to 0 all the way down, what do you get? And so then, and then you go by that count. And then if your calorie intake is, let's say 2,500 a day, you fill up the 2,500 calories with the very best foods. And then the foods below it don't get any play. And so it's very easy. Like sugar doesn't qualify. Flour doesn't qualify. Bars wouldn't qualify. They're like, but this is like different levels of intensity. I mean, I'm trying to be number 1 in the world on this. And so, but we just basically said, according to the scientific evidence, what things have the very best power. And what you're trying to do is your body. So let's just say life expectancy for California is 79 years. And so you can take each day and divide that and say, how much do you die per day, right? It's an easy math calculation. And then you say, what can you do in your life to either slow down that speed of aging, to extend your life, or to speed it up? So you could smoke and drink and not sleep well. That's going to speed up your aging. Or you can have like this really clean diet. That's going to slow down your speed of aging, sleeping well, exercising. So what we've tried to do is do the most quantified endeavor in human history of measuring like to the molecular level what things slow down the speed of aging and what things increase aging. And then we just get extremely granular on everything we do.
Okay. I want to get a little further into diet stuff, but that feels like a really good point to express all this criticism that you get. Like people, I think a big big portion of the criticism that you receive is that you're so into the minutia and all the all of this crazy, like the word was tedious that Rogan used, like like you're so invested in trying to live longer that you're somehow not actually living your life, and I just so disagree with that. I was speaking with Coral about this, and so she can weigh in on how she feels, but I said, like, number one, I view it as that you've gamified this. You've turned this into the highest level of competition.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're a competitive guy, and that you're thriving in this like super like ultra competitive thing. You're a world record. There's something that like just the pursuit of that high of a goal is to me, and then to be successful at it, like that's the definition of a life well lived in my view. So I absolutely don't agree with anybody saying that you're somehow not living your life. And then the next stage of it, the way that I view it, I said to Coral earlier, I said, there's 7 billion people. That's not counting the people who lived before us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there. And so at the end of the day, what do you want to have been?
Yeah.
Do you want to have been one of 7 billion people who were alive at that time?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be someone that's exceptional? Do you want to strive to be absolutely exceptional? And so anybody, I just think that taking that view, it really eliminates the basis for so much of the criticism that you receive. That I just want to on your behalf, just tell everybody, shut up, shut up and recognize that this is incredible.
Thanks. That's amazing. You know what? No one says that. Like I thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm cool with the criticism. It's almost like when I started doing this, people were so confused, right? No one had ever done this before in the world. And so humans, they didn't know what category to put me in. Like, am I a bodybuilder? Am I a health person? Am I a doctor? Like what category can I say? And so because there wasn't a clean category, they'd be like Patrick Bateman, Dorian Gray, Prometheus, biohacker, fuckface. Like they're just like blurting shit out. Like they just didn't know, like, what is this? So I'd say, actually, I'm a rejuvenation athlete. Like LeBron James eats well, sleeps well. He plays in the court. He does some records. Like, we're like, good job, LeBron.
Yeah.
But then you see someone trying to do a new sport, like trying to do anti-aging to a world record. It's like, fuckhead. So it's like, I've been trying to introduce people, like, this is a new category. I know you're not familiar with it. It's okay. Like, you're just getting familiarized with it, so it's all good. It's just it's a new thing that the world has not seen before.
Yeah, and I suppose that the show Silicon Valley kind of teed you up to.
We've leaned into that really hard. They did a fantastic job.
The show the Silicon Valley.
Yeah, they did the parody so good, and so we've leaned into that so hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. Okay, now Coral, let's hear it. And where's your mic?
Right here.
Okay, well let's use it.
How far do I need to keep it?
You go right into it. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I had a few thoughts when I was watching the documentary. At first, I was like, this guy can't be happy. Like, mental health.
Yeah.
It can't be there. And then the further I've watched, I saw that you had mentioned how you were not in a good place before, and doing what you're doing changed your life. And right then, that's all I needed to hear. And that's like, do your thing. You're not hurting anybody. You're not, as long as you're happy, do your thing.
Yeah, cool.
And then, like, what he said, how there's 7 billion people, after he said that, it kind of changed my mind even more of, you are starting something that nobody else has done, so you can be a record breaker.
Yeah.
That could be a cool thing.
Yeah.
Why not? Go for it.
Yeah, you're not NPC.
Yeah, you're not NPC at all, which is cool. And it's working.
What was the other question?
Okay. So, big question. Let's say you find out today you're going to die in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you do anything that's kind of out of your norm?
She says, would you bend the rules?
Yeah.
Would you kind of act out, get a little wild maybe? What would you do?
I would try to slow down time so that the 2 weeks never arrive. So,
Smart.
Yeah, like
he would double down.
Yeah. How do you make basically 2 weeks like 50 years? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How do I buy more time?
Yeah, that's the best answer.
Yeah, like would you do anything? Do you have anything that you've been wanting to do that you know you shouldn't or can't because of your blueprint?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any vices that remain?
Honestly, I really, I would say that I probably had an eating disorder, like years ago, where when I was really stressed and I was depressed and like in a bad relationship and like, all those things, that at night to soothe myself, I would eat. And so I was like 50 pounds or so heavier than I am right now.
Oh my God. I saw
the
in the documentary. It's a good looking at a different guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it probably was like an eating disorder. Like I didn't want to overeat. That made me feel really bad when I did it, but I couldn't stop myself. Probably
Oh my God, do I relate to that?
probably classifies as like an eating disorder to some extent. And so like, I don't know, like I look back at that time in my life and man, it was so awful. I mean, I felt so terrible. I wanted to die.
Hearing that, it's like, just do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
If this is something that nobody else will do, then still do it.
Yeah. And now last night I slept really well. I exercised this morning. I had a great breakfast. I feel amazing. I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun and great. Like, I just love life. I love being alive. And so, yeah, I do take a lot of shit. But I know what it feels like to be in a shitty place. And I think a lot of people are saying that because they feel shitty. Like I think
you're right on point with that, man. I wrote that down as a question to ask you. For all the haters that just want to like hurt your feelings and that behavior of really like trying to negatively impact somebody with your words comes from a place of unhealth.
That's right.
Right? Like
That's right.
that kind of malicious negativity is it's got to be quantifiably.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's observational.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I love it, Steve. You pick it up so fast. You nailed it. Yeah,
like there's probably not a metric for what do you call it? Intervention.
Yeah, interventional data.
Interventional data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love it. You nailed it. So like, the cool question would be, can you measure the biomarker that is responsible for meanness? Right? It's like people who are mean, like want to
Yeah.
lash out, they want to tear people down, like they want a zinger.
Right.
Like, what is the biomarker that's driving them to do that? And if they changed it, how would that temper that disposition? That's cool. That's a great frame.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's tough, man. Like, it seems from your documentary that you like don't shy away from looking at comments and feedback, and
I love it.
you love it.
I do. I don't know why. Absolutely love it. I love the hate. I egg my haters on. Like your NPCs, like say something interesting. Like so, the thing about that I've really taunted haters is I've said, when you hear about me, here are like the 5 things you're going to say. I know this because everyone says these things, right? So when you do this, don't be an NPC. Don't say these standard things. Like, be original. Like, if you're gonna zing me, like nail me, right? Give me something good. So it's also like, if you're gonna be a hater, be a good one, right? Like,
Okay.
get your shit together.
I like that.
I've taken a different approach on it, or I suppose perspective. I've evaluated criticism, and anytime that I think there's merit to it, that I agree with it, like I really try to address that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that by acknowledging it, it creates some kind of a vicious cycle, or it perpetuates
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so like I reached a point where I said, you know what, like I've taken it into consideration.
Yeah.
I've made like genuine efforts to improve myself everywhere that that I feel that I can and that I should. And beyond that, like I'm tapping out on looking at all the comments.
Yeah. It's true. You have to draw the line. I mean, so like, there are sometimes people offer legitimate, like one thing we're doing is we share everything publicly.
Right.
So all the good, the bad, the ugly. And we get some really good insights. Like people will say like, hey, think about this. We're like, fantastic. We missed it. So there's really some good insights. And then there's just that category of thing where it's just pure hate. It's not meant to be
Right.
constructive. It's just like, I want to hurt you. Right.
Sure.
In like the most raw way possible. But I agree. But yeah, I don't know why I have such like a positive emotional relationship. My son and I, we just laugh. Like the shit people say, like when they make fun of me, it's so funny. How I look, like how I am. It's funny. It's great.
All right.
That's huge. It really is all about perspective.
Yeah.
And how you can look at things. It's up to us.
Yeah,
At the end of the
I
day.
wonder.
Yeah.
Like I need to evolve my relationship with negativity.
What? Oh, really?
Because it's kind of grinded me. It's grinded me down.
Is that right?
Grinding my gears.
Like to a point, yeah, where I'm like
Tell me more about that.
I I don't know. And here I go acknowledging hate, which I think is a bad move, but I don't care because I'm just speaking
Yeah.
from the heart. I didn't used to have like a lot of it. It was really like sporadic, like at best, and at a certain point, over the last, I would say, couple years, it became much more prevalent. That, because I'm a sensitive guy. I'm a sensitive guy, and the prevalence of negative comments really took a toll on me. And again, I saw some of it as valid, and a little bit of it, I saw people criticizing you for promoting merch and monetizing what you do. That was me. As much as I built an audience, I really sought to monetize it.
Yeah.
I sold a lot of merch. I actually did very well selling a lot of merch. And when I saw the tide of the comments turn to, Steve-O's always just, always shilling, always
Yeah.
trying to sell, like he's, he just wants money. He's, he stopped doing drugs. He's addicted to money. Like that, on some level, I agreed with that, and I felt like, hey, you know what, my job here is to entertain. On one level, I agreed with it. On the other hand, I feel very strongly that at the end of this career, you know, like, do I want to have worked so hard? Do I want to have, like, you know, sacrificed so much and then have nothing to show for it?
Yeah.
Like, no, like I want to be smart and I want to set myself up to be comfortable later in life. I want to be financially stable. And so I have to find a balance between being a businessman and being an entertainer. I just do think that I went a little overboard and kind of abused my position as an entertainer, abused the attention of the audience. And as a result, I just stopped selling merch, man. My merchandising fell off
Do you
a
think
cliff.
that criticism was fair? Though? But do you...
I mean, I don't know. Do I think it was fair?
Like, what's the harm in you making merchandise?
Right. If people don't want to buy something, don't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think...
I just think that, I really care about being entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, that when I put something together, I really want it to be impactful. I want it to be and when there's solicitation and integrated into it, I think that does kind of undermine the goal.
I wonder, however, if that actually is not the correct signal. Those who are complaining, it's just like the kind of people who are always going to try to like.
It's true because you know what, nothing changed except for I just killed my merchandising.
Exactly.
operation.
Yeah.
I really let the haters win.
Bring it back.
Yeah, you know what? I just built a warehouse on my property in Tennessee for the express purpose of reviving my entrepreneurial spirit.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, so I did this thing myself. It was a scientific pursuit. It was like, can I be the first kind of new human around this don't die philosophy? And then it went viral, and like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people were like, I love this. I want to do it too. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And so then I was like, I don't really want to make this into a product. Like the food business sucks. It's so much pain. It's awful. It's low margins. It's the worst business. I could do something to make like 100 times more money. I don't want to do it. So I was like, fine, I'll do it. So then I do it. Because I'm trying to basically bring everybody the same quality I had. For example, like I was eating foods and we were testing everything I was eating. We discovered that the world is very toxic. Like most...
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah, right? But worse than you realize. Like when you see the data, it's really...
I've got
really
some
bad.
questions about that too.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah, so I started doing this for myself and I was like, okay, this is a really bad situation. So we started sourcing foods, testing them, and I was eating everything. So we would source like everything, every calorie. The food I had was ultra pure. The water I had, the air I had, like everything we were doing, I was ingesting in my body on a daily basis. We built all these systems. So then I basically did this for everyone else. Like here is the same thing for you at a low cost. So I did that and I'm like, okay, I'm doing the world a solid. Like I'm helping you out to have the same access to the same stuff I'm doing. And then inevitably, right, it's like, oh, you're a grifter.
Right.
You're shilling shit. I don't trust you anymore. And it's like, what? Like, you're going to call me if I don't do this, you're going to call me an asshole.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly. And it's just like, no way. I'm like, on the one side, I'm like this rich biohacker billionaire that wants to live forever all by myself. And I'm an asshole for doing that. Then I try to make it available to other people. And they're like, you're just a fucker now because now you're trying to shill and sell this shit. It's like, what do you want?
I mean, for a guy who bought Venmo, right? You acquired Venmo,
Yeah,
is
I
that
did.
right?
Exactly.
I gotta believe that you're pretty financially set up that affiliate Amazon links are not gonna really move the needle too much.
Honestly, like there are some days I'm just like, fuck it. Like I'm out. Like I don't, like, it is not worth my hassle to do this business. I don't need to do it. But then I hear from those who are like, who depend upon it for their like, we have so many customers who they eat, sleep, and breathe this Blueprint brand. I understand because I do the same thing. Like I want my clean food. I don't want to go eat dirty food. And so then I meet them. I'm like, okay, like I will block out the haters, but it is a thankless job. Like you really have to like stay solid on this because it's annoying when you're like trying to do a world of solid, and they just give you something in return. But anyways, I'm okay now. I've reconciled with the situation. But that's why I'm saying like with you, Steve, I'd like do it. Like sell your merch, like and like troll the merch, right? Like like just own it, be you. Like you're a fantastic human. You've done cool stuff. So
Well, thank you, man. And I'm never really going to be too interested in trolling, but there are things that I just think are super funny, and I just like what I arrived at is that I really need to let enthusiasm be my guide.
Exactly. Yeah,
You
that's
know?
right.
And I think that I genuinely did lose my way a little bit because I just ended up with so many people working for me, so many like people that I was like, I'm the livelihood for all these different people, and I've got my dad who's this corporate. He had a big CEO career, and it was like, how much money am I making to make my dad proud,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it became more about that than about the joy in it.
Yeah.
And so just by going back to the joy and the enthusiasm,
Yeah.
that's a big deal. All right, now I was very interested on one. We'll tie it up with the food. It hurt my heart to hear you say that the saddest moment in your day is your last bite of food.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
because I'm like pretty active in my overeating.
Yeah.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, it is.
It's an addiction, and I hate it that it's got me in the grips.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm powerless,
Exactly.
and that that makes everything that you said about taking the power away from your mind really resonate.
Yeah.
It's just so tough to get back on the.
Yeah. I said that because people looked at my diet and they say, like, you surely must hate your food. Like they're imagining, like, I'm sure you want to eat pizza and donuts and like you want to go eat a burger and fries. And so like it was really that. And what I was trying to say is that because we have such a methodical diet and every calorie fights for its life, I appreciate food now more than I ever have in my entire life. I eat it and I just absolutely am overjoyed by food. Whereas before, I was just numb. Like you just eat. Like you go to a restaurant, like fine, whatever. And now when I have certain flavors and spices, like, oh my God, it's so crazy. So I was just saying like how alert I am and alive I am to taste and so yeah, that's really it. And so then I appreciate food so much. But also I have this nice balance now where I realize there's limits. Like I need to stop myself, and it's not good to keep on going.
Yeah, I have a thing that I find myself saying all too often is that during a meal, I'll say, I just switched over to recreational eating. Like I'm satiated, I'm full,
Exactly.
and now I'm just eating for just some like perverse pleasure.
Exactly.
And I think that there's like a mental sickness involved where it's almost like when I go for that next low sugar candy bar, like I'm not clear that what I actually want is like just something to beat myself up over it. Like if it's almost like I think I might be addicted to the shame. Like, oh, here I did.
Right.
Like sure I enjoy eating the candy bar, but it's like, oh, like I'd like this self-flatulation. Like I'm a terrible person. Like I'm so weak, and it's almost like a perverse pleasure in
That's right.
in shame.
Yeah.
Man, it's
Isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? It's such a turbulent emotion, right? Like the whole experience of like of wanting it, and like, do you eat it or not? And then you eat it, and it's like, like one bite in, like you already feel all the shame.
Yeah.
You already feel all the regret, but then you want to finish it because you have this tension going on.
Yep.
It's so complicated psychologically.
It really is. So in any case, let me ask you about getting blood work done, because every person's so wildly different.
Yeah.
Like, you might, kale might be really good for you, but like actually, I could be eating kale, think hey, everybody says kale's a superfood, but it's actually not good for me individually. What can we do to identify the foods that are best for us?
Yeah. So I'd say that if you look at the population level science, like just look at big swaths of people, we have a lot more in common than we do different.
Okay.
So all of us do well with water, right? Almost all of us do well with exercise, minus a few conditions. All of us do well with vegetables. Like you could have your opinion about vegetables, but generally speaking, a lot of these rules really are good for everybody. And then you can jump into the individual differences. But I would say my experience has been the individual differences are really much less than most people think. And so what I've seen is like what happens psychologically to most people is when they want to be healthy, they try to get into the game. And the first thing they do is they like read some books or listen to some podcasts or whatever. And they'll be like, they'll feel overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, everybody says something different. How do I know which thing to do? Because everyone disagrees. And then they get on these tracks where like everything has to be so individualized. They're like, now they're running from all kinds of foods. They don't dare eat this or that. And so then they feel isolated. And then they're like, fuck it. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to eat everything. And so they give up. And so that's what we tried to do is we tried to basically say, it's okay. Like we're going to look at all the scientific evidence. We're not going to listen to anyone's opinion. We're going to say, just what does the scientific evidence say? We're going to do the evidence, and then we're going to measure and just do that again and again. And it's very safe, right? Because you just start with the stuff that works for a very large number of people, and then you measure your body and say, is it working for me or not? And so then you have a very clear plan. And so we've tried to basically eliminate this confusion that creates paralysis that people feel in a very steady, methodical, data measured way. And so with you, like we'd say, if I was working with you, we just set out this little plate with foods and say like, here are the foods you're going to eat. Have this protocol, like sleep this way, exercise, and do this, eat these meals. And then we'll do a baseline test. Like, how's your body doing? Do this for a month or two, do another test. How are you doing? And then we make adjustments here and there. But the adjustments for you would probably be pretty small. Like maybe there's something to do with your cholesterol, like maybe a statin. Maybe there's something to do with like maybe your triglycerides are high. You try to bring it down. Maybe your blood glucose is a little high, like bring it down a little bit, like small adjustments here and there. But I would say generally speaking, you're probably going to find that you're like most people, generally speaking.
Okay. And the general rule of thumb is eat food, whole food in its original form as it, like just stay away from processed stuff and like anything that comes in like cellophane or any kind of a wrapper is probably generally you want to avoid.
So it's actually a bit more nuanced. So we measure all foods, and it's very hard to find clean foods. And so even people who are like, I'm just going to go to my farmer's market and buy blank, that's not even a safe source, right? Because the water they're using to irrigate the food, like they don't control the water source, and water is very dirty. And so there's a lot of variables they don't control in that process. And so I eat a lot of stuff out of packages with Blueprint because we can source the foods ourselves, we can manufacture it ourselves, we can test it, we have quality control. So we're just trying to basically get food into my body that has been tested, and we're kind of open to how it comes. Now there's a few things, like for example, we never eat canned foods because it has BPA in the sealing of that property.
And what's BPA?
Oh, so it's like it's a chemical you don't want in your body. Yeah, so like for example, like women that had higher levels of BPA produced half the number of eggs than women who had lower levels of BPA. Like it just has very disruptive effects in the body.
Okay.
What are some other rules? Here's an example. We are building a lentils product, and we are sourcing these lentils, and they came back very high in heavy metals. And we're like, that's weird. Why are there high levels of cadmium, mercury, arsenic, lead in heavy metals? And so we called the supplier. We're like, what's up? And they're like, oh, well, yeah, this is our batch that was fertilized with human sludge. And we're like, so human poop is what they're using for the fertilization. And we're like, okay, do you have another growth path that doesn't have human sludge? So what's happening is humans eat a lot of heavy metals. It cycles through. They use that sludge and then put it back in the food chain through the fertilization process. So it's just producing these recycled heavy metals in the process. Wow. So that's an example. Like even if that was an organic black lentil I bought at Whole Foods. Wow. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like there's no definitive clear path of how you buy clean foods. You have to like really get after it.
Okay. Now, I've told this story before. I wanted to tell it very quickly. I went to school in England. And during 8th grade, I went on a field trip to Egypt. They told us, don't drink the water. The water is very contaminated. It's going to make you sick. But while we were there, I watched an Egyptian guy dunk his toothbrush in the Nile and brush his teeth. And I thought, wow, if tap water is bad, then what's the Nile? It's got to be crazy. But I thought this guy brushing his teeth in the Nile is challenging his immune system. He's just used to it at this point, so he's got to be stronger. And I arrived at the conclusion that the best thing I could do for my health would be to
Brush your teeth out of the Nile?
deliberately drink tap water all over the world.
Yeah.
Which I went on to do.
Yeah.
You know, we filmed a show called Wild Boys. We filmed it on every continent except Antarctica, where I presume the water's pretty pure. I drank tap water in everywhere I went. All over, you know, Asia, Africa, like South America. And I believe that my philosophy was right. You know, I considered that the immune system is a muscle. Like any muscle, it needs to be challenged to become strong. So, is there any argument? Like, are you just thinking, "Wow, what stupidity"? That
No, I mean, no, you ran an experiment. That's great. So the thing you could have done is just add some measurement, right? It's like measure your immune system as a baseline, and then do your experiment and then measure again. I think it's great. Like, you're proposing a hypothesis.
Right.
Great. So like, measure it and we'll get results and we'll see if it's right or not.
Yeah, I didn't do any measuring except the only time I really got sick was like one night we drank some like pretty crazy old boxed wine.
Yeah.
And I think that was about it. Clearly more than 17 years ago.
I mean, like, one theme that's been true in your life is you just consistently run experiments. Like, right, you're posing the question, what if? Right? And like, whatever you're doing, it's a what if. So I mean, your life has been a big experiment.
So now I spent so much time in an RV. I'm effectively living in this RV, which we're in right now.
Yeah.
You know, for this entire month, and I've been a little bit conflicted on how to approach my drinking water in here.
Yeah.
Because I hear such terrible things about any water that's in plastic. You know, apparently, like, and this company, Liquid Death, their whole deal is death to plastic.
Yeah.
And you know, the infinitely recyclable aluminum can is a lot better for the environment.
Yeah.
And there's so many health risks in plastic bottled water. Like, you've got stuff coming into the plastic that's just, and study after study confirms this. And I reached out to the CEO of Liquid Death, and I shared him this. You know, the study concludes total proof that, you know, plastic water bottles are deadly, dangerous, risky. And I was like, man, like, I imagine people are sending you this like crazy, and that it's good for your business. And he said, oh, dude, like, that pops up, you know, time and time again, all the time. Nobody pays attention to it. Everybody knows it. Nobody acts any different. And people just don't give a shit.
Yeah, you know, so a friend of mine just did a pretty comprehensive look at plastics in foods in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So it's plasticlist.org. You can see the results. You can just type in the brand. If I'm not mistaken, I think he showed, because they were measuring for phthalates and bisphenols. So those are the chemicals you use to either make plastic soft or hard. And those are the things you're trying to avoid. And so they looked at 300 foods, like meats, and they also looked at water, and they looked at food delivery. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they showed there's very little difference between plastics in water and plastics in glass. I'm not sure if they looked at aluminum. But yeah, so that was just, I guess, and he's one of the more, I think this is one of the most rigorous studies ever done on plastics. So again, like, it always comes back to measurement that we've learned that over the years, most things the internet believes about health are incorrect. Whenever conclusions that are formed by consensus on the internet are generally incorrect. And when you actually apply the science framework, it falls apart. Like, I'm not quite sure why crowdsourcing doesn't get shit right. Generally, right? Like, does general consensus arrive at good ideas? And
especially in the information age, the digital age, the internet, you would think that fact checking would be really effective.
It's honestly really surprising. It's like, maybe this is an overstatement. I want to say that, honestly, like, when I hear an opinion on social media, I want to say the truth is probably the exact opposite, most likely.
Right, I don't doubt it. So now, living in an RV, there's a fresh water tank.
Yeah,
and you know, like, generally, like, nobody thinks you should drink water out of the faucet. It comes out of a garden. You fill it up with a garden hose, and then this is like a very new RV, so I imagine that the water tank isn't like but the water tank is gonna develop issues with bacteria in the water tank. Yeah. So I just bought this. Basically, it's not Brita, it's another brand, but like a 40 cup filtration
Yeah.
thing. And I looked up. There's you attach to where the garden hose, the faucet,
Yeah.
a filter which will filter the water before it gets into the hose.
Yeah.
Then so you've got filtered water, and then once it comes out of here, then filter it again. How does that sound?
Yeah,
like
so
it
you
would
can
work?
actually just put it to the test. There's a test you can do. I forget who I use. We test my water once a month at my house, but it's $199, and you get a full panel. So then you'll see the efficacy of your panel. So yeah, just get a test. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's like I agree with you. Like getting water from the tank here, you need to make sure because that I'm not quite sure what grade quality it is, but it seems like a lot of things can go wrong with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're on the road, but you can definitely solve this. Like when you're at home, you can have like a reverse osmosis water system and all that kind of stuff. But when you're on the road, you're subject to other people's systems.
Right.
So yeah, so I'll give you the test name offline, and let you run it and get the results.
Okay. Yeah, man. It's part of me thinks, dude, like, be that kid who said he's going to drink tap water all over the world.
Yeah, yeah. But like the cool thing is that if like you follow up on this conversation, if you perform the $200 test, then you can share with the world like, hey, I have this RV,
Yeah.
I have this water tank, and I have this system. Here's my results.
Right.
And by you sharing that, right, like thousands of other people who are also living in RVs or traveling the world in RVs, they've just got a huge level up, right? Like you've given them one unlock on how they can measure. So like these very small actions with the one test on one thing helps people understand things so clearly. Like that one guy at the plastics test, right? Glass bottle versus plastic bottle. So testing just has like this underplayed role in society that if we test more stuff, we'd have
Right.
like so much more of a sane world.
How do you approach drinking water, like when you're in a restaurant or just like out and about on the road, like in the hotel?
Yeah, so we try to buy water that good brands we trust, and because a lot of companies out there do test water, and there's some water companies that have good quality, while some companies have bad quality. So we just try to find good brands.
Okay. All right. How did you approach the pandemic? I guess let me first ask, when did you really dive into this anti-aging?
Yeah, it was during the pandemic. Yeah.
During the
So I
pandemic,
was
okay.
building my company, Kernel. We built the world's first mass market brain interface. So you put this little bike helmet on your head, and it measures your brain, which no one had ever built before. It's really, really good quality. And so I was building that company and doing my new don't die experimentation.
Okay. Did like the whole response to the pandemic was just so political. It felt that people were anti-vax and this and that, and it just really felt like their just their politics were kind of making decisions. I got to presume that they again with the testing, but given how much attention you pay to health and air quality and this and
Yeah,
that, like in retrospect, like was everybody just wasting their time with the COVID masks, the mask mandate? Was that just stupid?
Yeah, yeah. That's funny. I have not seen the follow-up studies on mask efficacy. It was obviously a big debate, and I think people did conclude studies thereafter. I have not seen the evidence, so I don't know on that one. I will say that like the big thing that happened is that was the kill shot for government trustworthiness, right?
Yeah.
Like they squandered it. They messed it up so badly, and they didn't just share data. They tried to use the data to persuade people what to do. Now their role is to share data. It's not to try to persuade you how to understand it. But they were into this campaign mode where they were trying to get the world to behave in a certain way, which is just not the way you do science. And
Especially when it's at the cost of the entire economy,
Yeah.
like people's livelihoods. Like,
yeah,
I mean, that was like, it calls to mind, like, asking AI, like, the car is driving and like, someone's got to die. Like, how do
yeah,
like,
yeah.
they do that. Like, I heard about this. Like, they'll ask AI, like, you got to swerve, one way or the other. You're gonna kill
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
a grandmother.
The trolley problem. Yeah.
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 And I mean that is just exactly the same thing with the pandemic. It's like what's worse, like destroying people's livelihoods and the economy, or like saving lives. Like there was just no good approach to it.
Yeah,
It felt
yeah.
like.
So I think what happened is because they lost their credibility, they just blew it. I think that whether it comes back is TBD in time, but right now all the credibility has shifted to people like myself. We're working on a project right now called Don't Die Certified, where we're going to try to test 80% of the foods. 20% of the foods in the U.S. that make up 80% of the U.S. diet. So like when you guys are driving around and you go to the store, you're like, what should I buy? Should I buy a Quest bar? Should I buy like blank, 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 like whatever you're eating? We want you to be able to go to the website, type in the name of the product and say, what are the results for heavy metals, glyphosate, et cetera. And we want to put that on a new nutrition label where it says fats, calories, carbs, fats, et cetera. And here are the toxins. And so just like it's there for you to see. And that's like a government level initiative. Like the government should be doing that for us. Like we should have like companies should be doing that for us.
How about the government should, isn't the majority of food that we buy in America like straight illegal in Europe?
There's a lot of chemicals that Europe has banned that the U.S. allows. And that's very true. That we're a much more liberal marketplace. And so, like to me, I guess like the U.S. does have some legislation. There was a law passed in I think in the late 70s that said that chemicals are safe by default until proven guilty.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which was a bad one. And then they updated it recently in the past decade or so to say that actually you need to reverse that and say chemicals need to be tested prior to coming on market. But we've just had like I forget what the number is. It's something like 400,000 chemicals have come on market in the past like 60 years, something like that. It's a big number. And very, very few have been tested, and which makes sense because testing these chemicals is really hard. You have to do rigorous science. The studies are very hard. It's very hard to isolate. You don't know what you're really looking for. So I understand why the tension. But yeah, we're going to basically just try to chip away at this problem to say that anything you buy, from your cup of coffee to a snack at the store, you can say what level. Because right now, I know from being in the food business, almost nobody tests. Almost nobody. Like they source, they go to market, and people just don't know what they're eating. So that's an example. I think where they blew COVID, I think what they did is they created this huge opening for people like myself to jump in and say like, all right, if you guys are not going to be like on record as being credible, I'm going to step in and do it. So we're going to try to basically do like a society level job to map the U.S. food OM. Like we sequenced the genome in early 2000, we're going to map the U.S. food OM and look for toxins and just see how we have like a state of play. Like where are we at?
I've heard about different apps where like virtually any food packaging with a barcode, you open up the app, you scan the barcode, and it will give that food a grade.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a recommendation for the right app? Or they're like a good app to use for that?
Yeah, so they're looking at ingredients on labels. So they may say like high fructose corn syrup is a bad ingredient. Don't eat that. We're going to give it a low grade. But what they're not looking at is they're not testing the foods. So the invisible things which you can't see on the label are heavy metals, like agrochemicals,
Contaminants.
Exactly. That's what's invisible to everybody.
What's at stake with these invisible contaminants? I imagine cancer.
Exactly. It leads to all things awful. Yeah, I mean
all things awful.
Yeah. Like you just don't want to be like having a cup of mercury in the morning, right? Or a cup of lead, or a couple of.
But you know what? I can just imagine like kind of crawling into the head of the person listening right now, and just I can just see them thinking, "Oh, well, God, everything's gonna kill me. Arms up in the air, I give up."
Yeah. Okay, so person listening, help is on the way. Like I understand your feeling, and I have been through those same emotions. So first, it's just like an honest assessment, like we're in a shitty spot. Okay, let's all like just reconcile. Also, we are going to help you with data. So let's just look at it. And so I think once we start testing, like we got test results back. We started testing a bunch of not just food. We tested last week. We got results back for a diaper for tampons, and for dog food. And all came back with like,
Oh my God, Moon Pie's outside.
He just likes that she gets to run around and
yeah, so like we
be
got to
out.
get Moon Pie food, right? That doesn't have toxins.
Right. Okay. Kibble is. I feed her this great refrigerated, like actual
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Not like I put kibble on top of it too.
Let's test it. So let's give me the brand that she uses.
Okay.
Let's test it. Let's test a few other brands and let's see which ones are best.
Nice.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Very exciting. I keep seeing on my social media that a new drug which will extend the lives of dogs should hit the market next year.
Is that rapamycin or is that a different study?
I don't know.
Yeah. A friend of mine, I think, is building that company. I want to look it up. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I heard the news. I don't know what drug they're using.
So you measure your sleep with the Whoop band.
Yeah, I do. I also, give me 1 second. There was recently an FDA approval for a drug that improved dog lifespans. Can you remind me what drug it was?
Is that Siri you're asking or an actual person?
GPT.
Oh, Chat GPT.
Okay.
Chat GPT, man.
A recent development in veterinary medicine involves a drug called LOY-002. This medication aims to extend the healthy lifespan of senior dogs by targeting age-related metabolic issues. Loyal, the company behind LOY-002, is working towards full approval by late 2025. This could potentially offer a new way to improve the quality of life for aging dogs.
What was the evidence on the amount of time it increased lifespan for aging dogs?
Loyal-002 is an experimental drug developed by Loyal. LOY-002 is still in the clinical trial phase, so specific evidence on the exact amount of lifespan extension for aging dogs isn't fully available yet. However, the FDA has accepted Loyal's Reasonable Expectation of Effectiveness RXE application, which indicates promising initial results. Loyal is currently conducting the STAY clinical study with around 1,000 senior dogs to gather more comprehensive data on the drug's efficacy. The study is expected to run for 4 years, and more detailed findings should be available as the research progresses.
Cool.
All right. So promising.
Yeah, I mean,
If I could just keep my dog.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about Whoop. I love Whoop. I've been wearing
cool.
Whoop. I've been wearing Whoop for over 5 years.
Yeah. So I like the form factor. I like it that it's on the wrist. Aura is also great. Apple Watch is great. Garmin's great. Like if you're looking for a wearable, they all work. So just choose the one that works for you, price
Well,
point.
Whoop is the most sophisticated fitness tracking device known to man.
Okay.
Right? I mean, are you pushing back on that?
I think if you look at they're a great company. I
Okay,
guess.
let's look at the fact that you're wearing one.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
we've done the testing.
Yeah. So I used to wear an Aura, and then it annoyed me because I don't like things on my fingers. Like when I
Okay.
type or when I work out.
Oh, is that a ring?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I'm very careful to I don't ever speak about any product because I get paid. I only speak about things based upon evidence because I want my trust is my number one asset, and so I always want to speak in a very tempered fashion.
Okay, good.
So wearables, like if you look at a competitive chart, they all have their own metrics, like they're good at sleep or exercise or HRV or whatever. But generally speaking, they all do a pretty good job. So like you can get into the details and get much more granular in the analysis, like this one's better than that one in this regard. But yeah, so I'm just like offering a very general assessment. I do wear Whoop. I like the company a lot. I've worn them for 5 years. Others are also fine.
Okay, good. Can you explain HRV and why it's important?
Yeah, so that's your nervous system. So you
It's
can think.
heart rate variability.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
The
So
nervous system.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like when you're feeling fight or flight, when
Right.
like really ramped up, that's your sympathetic nervous system and like, let's go. But you only want to be in that zone for a small amount of time. Then you want to dip back into your parasympathetic, which is more calm state. And so what your HRV is measuring is the ratio, like where you're at on the dial. Like, are you more sympathetic as a person? Like, are you more fight or flight, or are you more chill? And so a higher HRV just means you're basically doing a good job, like leveling your nervous system. And so, yeah, it's a good marker for how you're doing with stress, how you're doing with calming your nervous system. So it's a generally good marker. And as like most markers, you start with a very high HRV in life, and then it just goes down with age until it gets to zero. I think it's,
Mine is so reflective of how I'm doing with my diet.
exactly.
Like, if I'm really on point, like I'll be 150.
Yeah.
If I start slipping up, overeating, like it falls. Like my highest that I'll see right now is like 118.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So yeah, just on the verge of being 50, that is a fantastic HRV. Like that's at age 20.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I'm generally a pretty healthy guy. But that's on a green day. I'm saying that's the highest it'll go.
Yeah,
Lowest it'll go is about 70.
yeah, that's really good. Yeah, see, but once you see all the data coming in, when you see how the body responds to like a bad meal or a bad week or to a bad night, right? It's really informative.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of people will get these wearables and they'll drink, then they'll see it just demolishes their sleep, and they'll be like, oh, what? And so like one night of data shows them, even though they've felt it 1,000 times before,
Right.
just seeing the data changes their perspective. So like you can imagine when we see data on my body, we see thousands of data points. It really motivates you. Like what? So when people are like, "Oh, Bryan, you got to be at craving a donut or a pizza," it's like, no, because I know if I do that, I know the wreckage is going to happen in my body. I can't stand that thought. That's just like the worst. So changes your perspective.
Man, there she is. There's my little moon pie.
I'm so curious who picked her up.
Yeah.
Who is this? Who is this person?
She was hanging out with her 2 big dogs.
Thank you so much.
She's so sweet.
Hilarious fucking saga. We went to the like a vet, and they're like, "This is Steve-O's dog." I was like, "Really?"
How did the vet know it was my dog?
Because the microchip to a place in Kentucky, it was a
Yeah.
whole fucking thing. We
Wow.
were just trying to be like, maybe this is chipped or something.
You guys are amazing.
And we just lived right there, and she was right here.
Come here.
What it was.
Hey, thank you so much. Oh, I love you. I'm just a terrible dad, aren't I?
What a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like she thinks she just went on a field trip. Like she doesn't know she was forgotten. She's
Yeah.
like, thanks,
Field
Dad.
trip.
That was fun.
I mean, I generally, I'll let her out.
Yeah.
I don't normally lock her out, but I let her out and she always comes back. So the only variable is if somebody takes her.
I oftentimes wonder if like we humans got too much consciousness, and if we'd be better if we stopped at the conscious level of dogs. Like they're good.
Yeah.
Like life is just okay, and like, hey, buddy, how are you? Nice. Thanks for welcoming me. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet.
Now, and I wonder, like, the dog's licking you. Are you thinking, like, bacteria in the dog's mouth, it's got to keep it off me?
I'm thinking this is going to be an experiment. What does dog bacteria do?
Perspective. I like it.
Right.
Oh,
Yes, yeah, she's a little bit pooped out. That's what I want. She got some exercise. Now, in the, in the documentary, you were describing it, being a divorced guy, finding potential partners on dating apps.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. And you've got like kind of a protocol for if you meet a potential partner,
Yeah.
you're going to say, hey, I'm going to need to flag this, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to just kind of get out in front of this.
Yeah.
You need to know that I'm a nightmare. Of course, that's...
I'm a sweet dream, but you're going to think I'm a nightmare before you realize I'm a sweet dream.
Right, okay. How is the dating life going? Are you dating anyone now?
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, you're not.
Yeah.
now, like, potential partners, like, what kind of testing goes on?
Yeah.
Talk about testing, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So it is. It's true that I really am. I really believe in this "don't die" movement. Like I legitimately believe it's going to change the course of intelligent existence on this planet, and therefore I'm really into the work. And so when I meet people, I try to let them know immediately, like whatever model you have in your mind about what a relationship is, you need to understand that I'm really after this objective, and that is my number one partner.
Right.
And so you're going to be in place number 2. Now, sometimes women will say, great. Like, honestly, I hate when I'm in the number 1 spot. It's too much attention. It's too much requirements. Like, I want to do my thing too. So honestly, great. So just like that as a baseline, because most people start with the assumption that when you get together, you're each other's number 1s.
Yeah.
And so you just break that one down. Then number 2, like you start going down the list. So you're just trying to basically you're trying to address what society says should be the default, and you're saying what will be the default. And then you save yourself a year of time of going through all that dating process. And oftentimes women will get to the end of it. Like I've never had more women pursue me in my entire life and maybe it's just because it's fame or whatever the case may be, but women come at me now with this very specific thing like, I love this lifestyle. I love this purpose. I love this routine. It's like it fits perfectly with me. So in many ways, it's just like it eliminates all the uncertainties, like what kind of guy am I? What am I going to do? And they are into the testing. So actually, one of the funny things, when I start doing the blood stuff, like there's a big blood world out there.
Help me understand what that means.
I mean, like people that are really into blood.
Blood work.
That can go many different ways.
Exactly. I mean, like.
You're talking about like what Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton? Or MGK and
it can go many different ways.
Yeah. Exactly. So like people do wild sex blood things.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this?
Yeah.
Oh wow. That was a knowing look.
Somebody I know very well is into that, and they're very public about that.
Yes.
And it's like period blood,
exactly.
or a face mask, or
exactly. And they'll like
making art with blood.
Exactly. All over the room and stuff like that. So this is like, so a lot of people, they'll approach this conversation and they'll think I'm at some disadvantage, right? Okay. Like maybe the guy's a little autistic. Maybe he's like, whatever. They mark all these deficits, but what they don't realize is this really speaks hardcore to a lot of people with different life, like different proclivities, different interests. So when I started doing the blood thing, like my DMs were just popping, like, and they're like, like this is my thing.
Because the blood, the plasma transfusion.
Exactly. Like so, it tripped off this whole thing. So I guess like it's just been fun. I've been introduced to these new worlds which I didn't know existed. I wasn't aware of this going on, but so yeah, it's been fun. Like there's I'm really having a great time. I think this is like a really fun conversation to have. It pokes holes in all these social norms on what people think should or should not be available. But like it's great.
Okay, now. I'm going to take it your word. You're having a lot of fun dating.
I'm also, I will say, I'm also extremely careful.
I can imagine.
I mean, I've had experiences in life where people did not have the right interests, the right intentions, right? They had actually ulterior motives.
Well, I mean, that factored into the documentary as well.
Yeah, you did mention that in the documentary as well.
So,
I mean, that... And it's just crazy how people can take the same piece of information and arrive at such wildly different conclusions.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I have to, it's like a really delicate balance. Like I'm sure you've experienced the same thing. It's just like, you kind of have to, everyone you meet, you kind of have to figure out like, what is it? Like, what is it that you're after and on what time scale? And because everyone's got a certain want. And so, or sometimes just genuine friendship, which is cool. But like you definitely have to be mindful.
Right. Okay, now you've got your individual health protocol very dialed in. On a bigger scale, like kind of more of a collective societal health, like I think we can agree that that we're in trouble, not just as a nation in America, but on a global scale. The debt, is unsustainable. The environment's screwed. I mean,
Yeah.
we live in a time of what's called mega threats. And I just wonder, like, with all of these, precautions, all these protocols, all these approaches to your individual health, how do you, do you have the same kind of, preemptive, planning for like societal
Yes.
problems? Like, so like I guess what I'm asking is, do you have like a nuclear bunker? Like, do you
Yeah.
have like, passports for all kinds of different countries?
That,
So-
like Jason Bourne style.
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'll never forget. I was, on a flight to England. I was sitting next to a guy who was on the United States sailing team. He was off to he was going to connect in London and go to Scandinavia somewhere and compete with sailboats. And he was reading this book. Right there on the cover, the title said, "This book could save your life." It's written by an author, Neil Strauss.
Yeah.
who
Yeah, I know Neil's a friend.
Excellent. Wow. I love him because he wrote what I used to call the Bible,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is the Motley Crue book, The Dirt.
Exactly. Yeah.
I refer
Yeah.
to that as the Bible. So, in order to write this book, This Could Save Your Life, he really dove into the survivalist,
Yeah.
and the guy, the sailing guy, broke down. He says, yeah, well, he got involved with these militias. He I think maybe became a pilot, got passports for all these countries to go to, and when the shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
learned how to ride a motorcycle because when everybody's trying
Yeah.
to get out, like a motorcycle can split lanes.
Yeah.
This whole thing, and I got to believe that whole survivalist thing just fits right into your program.
Yeah. So I've actually done very little on that.
Uh-huh.
So my mind really, the thing I'm obsessed about more than anything is survival of the human race. That's like, that is what I am absolutely consumed by. And so it's
That's on an individual organism level.
yeah. So it's not even like my health stuff is, like me trying to be healthy. I'm not doing it for myself. I'm really doing it for like the philosophy it represents. So what I'm basically saying is, the thing that every single human on the planet wants, like the thing we have in common, we have one thing in common. Nobody wants to die right now.
Okay.
That is literally the only thing in existence that humans agree upon.
I've always said that, not always, but that the human experience feels like a really cruel prank on us because we only have one instinct, which is to survive.
Yes.
But one guarantee, which is we won't.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, what are we doing here?
So exactly.
Like we're barreling towards this inevitable demise, which we fear more than anything. And, I kind of see, this would be antithetical to your whole perspective, but I see that, given that you're right, we all want to survive. We all know that we won't.
Yeah.
So I see the human experience as an exercise in trying to reconcile our mortality,
Yeah.
to wrap our head around
Yeah.
it.
Which is like the history of humanity. And so what I'm saying above all is I'm saying that, yeah, so humans want one thing. We don't want to die right now. And then secondly is I'm saying that AI is progressing at a speed that makes it clear that death may no longer be inevitable, that we may be the first generation to not die. And so this is the first time
Can
in
you
human
help me
history.
understand ways in which AI can...
Yeah. So think of it like this. So if we say, okay, so lifespan has nearly doubled, in the past century. And it's doubled from things like basic hygiene practices like washing hands. We discovered there are germs and these microscopic objects cause infections. So therefore washing your hands is a good idea. We discovered antibiotics, help control infections. That's really positive.
Vaccines.
Yeah, vaccines. Like we discovered that certain drugs and Medicare, like you can like cancer treatments, right? Like we discovered all these things to extend life. That's been wonderful. And so just think of like the people who made those discoveries are just smart people. So think of AI as like billions or trillions more of smart people. And as AI gets smarter and smarter and smarter, now sometimes AI is working in conjunction with the human. Soon AIs will probably be working autonomously, like they'll work without a human. And so you're basically bringing on like orders of magnitude more intelligence, like basically call it 1 billion or 1 trillion new human geniuses to work on the world's hardest problems.
And without requiring sleep or
Exactly.
food.
And so when you do that, right, you're inevitably going to make some kind of progress towards figuring out how you slow down the speed of aging. So let's say this year we bring on 1 billion new genius level humans to work on aging. And let's say that cumulative effect is they help us slow down our speed of aging by 10%. Okay. So we age a little slower over the next year, and say next year they discover something that slows down our speed in another 10%. Right? And so we buy a little bit more time. And so you don't have to map that out very long. It's like 10 years passes or 15 years, and we're like, are we on the cusp of like dramatically extending our lives? Like we're going to live hundreds or even thousands of years. And so there's no reasonable person right now can take the position that we are somehow prohibited by the laws of physics from doing this. Biology has already solved immortality in several species. It's a different species than us.
What species?
So there's jellyfish that are immortal, right? So there's like the Greenland shark lives, a couple hundred years. Like there are biological species that live very long lives, and some which are immortal. And so it's not like you're trying to break.
Is there anything other than jellyfish which are immortal?
Yeah, the Hydra.
Turtles, I think, do really well.
Yeah,
Some
turtles.
turtles.
Yeah,
Turtles do
the
well.
yeah, the Hydra I think is immortal.
I don't know what a hydra is.
Yeah, there's several.
Okay.
Yeah, so to conclude that thought, my entire essence of a being is basically I'm trying to communicate in 2025. This is the biggest moment in the history of the human race.
I believe that.
Yeah, and so
I believe that. And it could go very bad.
exactly. So my goal is don't die don't die, like don't eat toxins today for lunch. 2, don't die by nuking ourselves. Don't die by, letting viruses spin out of control. Don't die by having AI do something stupid and killing the human race. Like basically I'm trying to say, don't die across every vector of existence. Don't die. Like the only thing we do as a species right now is we say like we're on the cusp of something extraordinary. We have to lock in. It doesn't make sense anymore to spend our time trying to make money and wealth and power and status. A brand new game is here.
Unrelated question, but do you think AI, and I love the way that you describe it as 1 trillion new geniuses.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about the disparity of wealth?
Yeah.
I think that I think that is just so alarming.
Yeah. Well, I say the trends around that are very good. So if you look at how cell phones, mobile phones raised people out of absolute poverty, now they've got a supercomputer in their hands and they have access to financial resources where they don't have to go through banks anymore. Just that their bank is on their phone. They can text and call anyone. And so now with AI, you've got a supercomputer, super intelligent agent in your hand. So in many ways, these advancements do more for the poor than anything that's ever been done. Like it does more than a government can do. It is more than a program. Now you have access to all the knowledge. And so it levels the playing field. Everybody has access to the same level of intelligence. It's actually pretty crazy. So I'd say it's actually doing more to lessen inequality than ever before.
Okay. I just recently spoke with Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar with him. And he was taking the position that during this Trump administration, we will see the world's first trillionaire, and that's going to be a net positive for the world at large, the nation, the economy. I can't see that.
Yeah.
Like to me, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer has been a dynamic. I mean, we haven't seen it to the scale it's at now since the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, and I'm not sure if it's worse or better now, but it's certainly headed towards worse.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tricky one.
I mean, I don't know. Like while we're talking about the thriving, and I gotta say it's an unpopular opinion, but I love everything I hear Bernie Sanders say.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think. I don't think you ultimately want a human or a small group of humans with disproportionate decision control in the world.
Right, and at this point, the top 3 richest people in America control more than 50% of the wealth.
Yeah.
That's incredibly
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. And it's yeah, I think you really want systems to be moderators of power, but you also, like sometimes when systems get stuck in internal battles, they collapse upon themselves. And sometimes something new, like when the founding fathers created America, right? To get away from the British. It's a very complicated question. I understand there's an easy way to try to simplify this of rich is bad and equality is good, but society is a very complicated mess,
Yeah.
and like we're all. I'm trying to map this.
I agree with where you're going.
I'm trying to basically say like when death is inevitable, it becomes a fight on who can acquire the most amount of power and wealth. And when you enter into a new phase of don't die, it's a different game as a species. And it's not one of wealth and power. It's a game entirely as a species locking, because the one person can't do that.
I feel like I want to push back on that a little bit.
Okay,
'Cause I
please.
feel like when, the human instinct for, power, property, and prestige, I think, when you take away the limitation which death represents, I just think that you have limitless hunger but now, because already, the saying really resonated with me, that a man who has nothing only has to worry about his next meal.
Yeah.
The man who has everything worries about his last meal.
Yeah.
And do I have enough do I have enough to retire? Do I have enough, when am I going to run out of money? It's that's why financial insecurity becomes a greater problem for those who have more wealth. The more wealth you have, the more financially insecure you feel. So now if you take that last meal and now you need to have enough resources to forever, you're never going to die. Then you think that whole financial insecurity of thinking about your last meal. Now, now you've got people that have a much longer timeline that they need to support themselves on, and a more hunger for power, property, and prestige.
Yeah. I can attest that's true with me. I was poor for the first 34 years of my life, and then I made a couple $100 million from the sale of my company. And wealth is so complicated.
It creates a vacuum.
It
doesn't satisfy anything. The more wealth you have, the more it creates a vacuum. The more you have, the more you need.
Exactly, and
that's just human nature.
Exactly. And you can't really talk about this publicly because it's like a complaining about being wealthy, right? So it's a shit move. Also, just in all honesty, it is a major complication in life. It just makes life so complicated.
I mean, I think that you could ask just about any person who's amassed any substantial wealth, were they happier before they became wealthy? I think almost universally people are going to say that they were happier when they had nothing.
It's a trade-off. It definitely has very serious trade-offs. It's not like you just make money and you're good. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I believe just at a cellular level, when I had absolutely nothing, and I did have absolutely nothing, that I was happier. And it's just it's distilled down to that one saying, the man who has nothing only has to worry about his next meal.
Yeah.
Life is so simple under those circumstances.
Yeah. And I would also say I resonate with that because being healthy, the fact that now my life is based upon trying to have the best biomarkers in the world, that has brought me genuine happiness. When my body is in a really good spot, when I'm sleeping well and when I just feel great, when I'm not eating toxins, I legit feel happy. And so I resonate with that.
The amount of sleep people need varies so much. Is it right that the older you get, the less sleep you need?
No, you need more.
You need more.
And it's harder to get sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing my Whoop band has really helped me with, is that, I believed that I needed to sleep. I take it very seriously. I used to have a rule that I'd never want to go to sleep without having at least 8 hours before I gotta get up.
Yeah.
And like it is a real problem. It is a problem for my next day if I'm going to have less than 8 hours for
Yeah,
sleep.
that's right.
But I come to realize with my Whoop, it's actually more like 9. It's more like 9, and if I really want to be optimal, I need to be in bed for like 10 hours because I need 8 hours of actual sleep.
Yeah.
So time in bed
Exactly.
is very different from actual sleep.
Exactly.
I need a minimum of 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Which means that I need to devote 9 hours at minimum
Yes.
to being in bed.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I agree with you. My average over the past year is 8 hours and 34 minutes of sleep. And so, it's my wake time at night is on average less than 30 minutes. So me too, I'm getting 8 hours a night. And so you're really trying to spend the least amount of time in bed as possible, which means like fewest times getting up, fewest amount of time waking up, being up. So yeah, I agree with you. But I feel my very best with 8.
Yeah, I have to have it.
The data shows the optimal number is around 7. So if you look at all the population scale data, and then if you then add in top of that extra sleep needed for a level of activity or stuff like that, you can get to 8. But there's actually, it's a kind of like a V-shaped curve where all-cause mortality is very high with low levels of sleep. Then you get to the lowest number of all-cause mortality. Like you increase lifespan expectancy of 7, then you start coming back up. So getting too much sleep, getting too much sleep is actually bad for you. So it's in a very narrow band of like 7 to 8.
So what are you doing sleeping 8.5 hours, man? That sounds very reckless.
Well, so once you account for my wake time, so I'm actually like right there in the optimal curve because I'm up on average just below 30. Yeah. So some people do have a gene though. They can sleep for 4 hours a night, but that's so rare though. So you can actually, if someone's like, oh, I sleep 5 hours a night and I'm fine, you can measure it. You can actually look at blood biomarkers and see if they're telling the truth. If they're not, the body markers will tell you like they're inflamed and unhappy.
So you said if somebody gets too much sleep, it's bad for them. Is that bad for their physical health, mental health, or both?
I'm not sure. Actually, it's a great question. I don't know.
You don't know about the mental piece because that's harder to quantify, but physical health, absolutely, there's metrics for that.
Yeah, exactly. So I know the deficiencies of too little sleep. Like I know which proteins will be bad, but your question's great. I've never actually heard it before. What are the markers that you're sleeping too much? Good question. I don't know.
Wow. I feel like we could talk for hours and hours and days, man.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
In your documentary, you were taking those antibiotics, correct?
Oh, the rapamycin?
Yeah, I think you had 13.
Yes, that's right.
In your hand. How do you feel? How does your body feel? And how did you feel when you first started taking them?
Yeah, so I just stopped taking rapamycin because of the side effects. Yeah, so rapamycin was probably considered to be the most exciting drug in anti-aging. It had shown great promise in mice models, and it was just now going to humans for studies. And but it also comes along with a bunch of side effects. Like you have small tissue infections, like cankers in your mouth. It reduces your NK cells, your immune system. NK cells are your cancer-killing cells, so it suppresses them. And then it also causes disruptions in blood glucose and also lipids, like your cholesterol. And so we were trading off those side effects for the potential benefits of his offering for longevity. But then after doing it for 5 years, and we were being very meticulous measuring all of my blood work doing this, we concluded the side effect profile was too high for the benefits we thought we were getting, so we stopped. And then a paper came out in October, a month after we stopped, and showed that using 16 biological aging clocks, that rapamycin was increasing the speed of aging. So on this marker, it wasn't just, it had some effect where it is increasing speed of aging. So it's kind of like the irony of like the world's best anti-aging drug on this marker was accelerating the speed of aging.
Is that a lawsuit?
Yeah, so basically went against of what your goal was.
Yeah, but it's like it's also, you have to keep in mind that's just one data point. So like when I shared, like we do, I shared this publicly. I'm like, hey, you guys, I've been doing this. Here's the new data. And then like the internet went wild. They're like, this is so funny. This is so good. The anti-aging guy accidentally took a anti-aging drug. It was like accidentally accelerating his aging. So people were so excited. But you have to realize this is part of the scientific process. Like you do things, you try things, some things work. And also it's just one data point. It may actually have worked in other ways we didn't measure.
That's why your ear is so damn old.
Yeah. So
Interesting. Okay.
How frequently are you uploading YouTube videos? I saw your plaque. Like, where's your subscriber count at this point?
I think we're at 1.5 million.
Nice. That's very fast growth.
Yeah, thanks. We've been at it for like a year and a half.
I guess
Something
the
like
Netflix really, the documentary really spiked the.
The Netflix effect is real. It is so deep and broad. I'm amazed. Every walk of life. Like this morning, I'm here in Austin for a week. I went to the gym. And they're like, "Hey."
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's like even people outside of world of health and wellness.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fascinating documentary, man.
It really is. Yeah. I think everybody should see it.
Thanks.
The history with the Mormon Church, it's pretty heartbreaking. You know, the way that effectively destroyed the family dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, you were very strict Mormon. You left the church. I couldn't help but wonder, have you ever gone to see the play, The Book of Mormon?
I have.
It's
Good. It's really good.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And was that like I've left the church, like I'm gonna go see this play.
Yeah, I think the Mormon Church has really done a great job from a PR perspective. I think they realized that putting up a fuss would just make it worse. So I think that they kind of roll with it. They're like, yeah, I'll go see it and it's fun. So
Wow.
yeah, so I think kudos to them that was a really good PR play. It's like we know this, like
Sure.
always say yes and to critics. Never no but, right? No but never works. Always yes and. So I think they've played their cards right.
That's incredible. So you were still in the church when you saw that play?
No, it was after. But I wanted to see, it was fun to see an outsider's take because
Sure.
when you're inside, you live within the lunacy of the system.
Right.
And it's only when an outsider can poke fun and you're like, oh, I was
Yep.
that. Like I did
Right.
that. And so you see yourself in this
Different
new light.
sides.
So it's almost like I was watching myself through like self-discovery of like who I was before and I was oblivious to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not like on any level trying to attack. I personally really enjoyed that play.
Yeah.
And the perspective of somebody who's left the church. Like I wanted to ask about that. Having left the Mormon Church, like how would you describe? And this is where I want to end on this. Like, what does faith mean to you as a guy who's left the church?
Yeah. So I think that to me, that's like, it's the coolest question in existence where like we find ourselves in this really weird situation. Like we are conscious, we're on Earth, floating in space. Like what's happening? Like
Right.
What is
is even happening? And it's like such a good question. Then like we forget that that's the situation. And then we jump to all these conclusions and we get lost in all these games we're playing, like whether it's a content creator or whether it's like building a business,
Right.
we're playing for status, power, prestige. But like if you zoom out and you see that we're in this larger galaxy, this is nuts. And so what I learned from that experience is when I came out of the womb, I was born into this really small community, this religious community. And they said, this is reality. We're going to tell you how to understand reality. And so Mormonism has a story for like what happened before this life, what happens in this life, what happens in the afterlife. They give you all the rules, like eat this, don't eat that, think this, don't think that. These people are your friends, these people are the enemies. You know, like they give you the whole playbook for reality. And then when I finally came to understand, they had given me a playbook for reality, but maybe that wasn't reality. Like maybe it was like some constructed reality. And so I got to ask this question brand new. What is really going on? And I think that's really the question. And so my favorite quote is by a World War II reporter, Edward Murrow. And he said, those who are not confused by the situation don't understand what's really going on. So normally we think that understanding is intelligence. And he's saying that confusion is intelligence. That that intelligence never actually graduates past confusion. That we're like, it's just,
Sure.
we can't understand what is happening.
Here's as a sober guy, the 12 steps.
Yeah.
That they refer to God as we understand God.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing a guy who, when I was really new, he said, I think alcoholics must be the most arrogant people on earth because they actually believe that they understand God. You know, that's which is a little bit of a play on it. Right? God, my understanding of God. And, you know, that I was like, yeah, that's 100% right. Like, we don't understand. Like, to claim to understand is arrogant.
Yeah. So I when I went through that whole process and I came back and I was like, how do I understand existence? I came up with a single answer. The only thing I know is that I don't want to die right now.
Okay.
And like literally outside of that observation, I can't say that I know anything. And that's especially true as we're walking into a new era of being human with AI. And so my entire thesis on existence is that as a species, like as we're sitting on Earth in this part of the galaxy, giving birth to superintelligence, literally the only thing we know as a species, the only thing is we don't want to die right now. And it's like a very humble observation about reality that it's like, it's so precious that we're here. Did this flip off?
I think that one did.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
We still got you right here.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's like the essence of my world is like, it's been dramatically simplified into a single concept.
Right. I mean, you definitely have a real knack for staying on topic.
Does it like get out of control otherwise?
No. I mean, and I love it. I love it. I think that's really the best or the most honest answer for a question about spirituality is that I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I think you could go to the dictionary definition of the word faith, and I think it would say belief in something that cannot be proven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think some people, if they were to think, I don't know what's happening and I don't know what's out there, that could be scary for them. And some other people, it could be exciting and, you know, they want to find more avenues and explore more things. And, you know, you can make your own assumptions, but I mean, you could also have like your higher power can be, I was just telling him, like a tree or anything you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, man. Well, we both have things we got to do today.
Yeah.
This is considerably longer than I normally run a podcast, which is always evidence of it being an experience that I enjoyed.
Well, I had fun hanging out with you.
Yeah, likewise, man.
Yeah, I've you probably hear this all the time. I've been watching you like since like it's like I can remember being conscious. Like I've been watching you in the public eye. So it's been really cool to see you. You're such an unusual character.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, and I just really respect that you've carved out a path that is different. And so, you know, respect.
Hey, likewise, man. And there you have it, folks. My buddy, Bryan Johnson. And happy to report that Moon Pie, she's perfectly safe and sound. Am I a bad dad for letting her roam around? Maybe, but her quality of life matters to me. I want her to have some freedom. And, you know, thanks again to the people who kidnapped her. But yeah, in any case, Bryan Johnson, loved him, and I love you for sticking around to the end. Yeah, it's crazy. And you know what was really crazy? What I did, what was it now? 3 days ago? It's been 3 days. I did one of the biggest stunts. Maybe the biggest stunt. Like 3 days ago. It was epic. Anyway, I love you. Thank you for sticking around. And it's time for bed. Yeah, dude. Get into it. We ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Dawson. Yeah, dude. So we met once before when we did your podcast for Full Screen. And that was a long time ago, huh?
That was, how many cancellations ago was that? I think that was 4. 4.5. There was a half there.
Man.
That was, yeah.
We watched a video that kind of chronicled all of the cancellations.
Oh my God.
Yeah, are we going to show up on some sort of list having you on?
What was interesting was that, like, it was, you know, they said that in some cases people will, like, you know, build careers, become famous, and then do something like super offensive to people. But in this case of Shane Dawson, he that is not what happened. Shane Dawson was super offensive the whole time. Is actually like what he became famous for, kind of. So then it's like, it's just an interesting dynamic where you were just a wild, outrageously offensive guy, and everything was great until people just got upset about it after the fact.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no, it was a lot. I mean, listen, like I'm not one of those people that's mad that I got canceled. I mean, maybe in the beginning I was, yeah, because those videos were from a long time ago, and a lot of this stuff was from a long time ago, and I hadn't done anything like that in years. But I mean, I'm also kind of glad it all happened because it made me face a lot of things and realize, yeah, a lot of things.
Right. So what has been what's been going on recently? You remember maybe when we got together like all those years ago, I think I called up my niece on the phone, or maybe we made a video and sent it to my niece, but my niece was just such a rabid Shane Dawson fan. And I texted her yesterday. I said, "Are you still like a fan of Shane Dawson?" She said, "Yeah." Like I said, "Oh, because we're gonna record a podcast with him tomorrow." And she goes, "WTF? Oh my God, that's great!" And she said, "From what I gather, he's doing very since he got in trouble with the popular media."
Popular media.
Yeah, like her take on it seems to be that your cancellation, so to speak, was with like the mainstream media, and that under in kind of your world, sort of under that radar, that everything's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like when I started doing YouTube, the people that were watching were, I think the types of people that were watching my stuff changed in like 2018, 2019, and I started doing things about makeup, and I think it opened up to, and not to make excuses, but I think I started doing YouTube videos for kind of like fucked up, weird, outcast people, and then the more mainstream YouTube got, and the more I was doing documentaries on or documentaries, people don't like me when I call them that, but I was doing videos about people that were more mainstream, so it was a lot of like,
yeah.
And then they were really surprised by all the old videos, obviously. So yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm so I don't talk about this stuff really except for like therapy, so I don't know. I don't know how to like not go into like that mode.
That's cool. We're on therapy.
It's all good. Yeah, we're big fans of therapy.
I got a 5 o'clock today.
So help me understand the makeup. It seems to me like kind of counterintuitive that do you wear makeup regularly?
So well, I did a series on a YouTuber who I was really fascinated by, who I'm friends with, but at the time I wasn't really friends with them. Jeffree Star, who's like, he's been around forever, MySpace days. So he had this big makeup business that I didn't understand at all. And I did a kind of a series with him on my channel, and we were talking about it. And then he was like, well, why don't you do a collaboration with me with makeup? I'm like, well, I don't know anything about it. But I'm one of those people, I don't know if it's OCD or what it is, but when I have a new thing that I like want to do or whatever, I get obsessed with it. So I jumped in, I bought a bunch of fucking makeup, I learned how to do it, I got obsessed with it.
When you say learned how to do it, like how to put it on? Yeah,
like I watched every fucking makeup tutorial video in history. I just watched all of them, and then it was, I mean, but also like I don't go out in the world and wear makeup, so
why do you want to do a makeup YouTube if like you weren't wearing makeup or doing makeup before that? Like what made you want to do the makeup?
Well, I wanted to do the series because it was like a world I didn't understand. It was, my friend who's making hundreds of millions of dollars doing this makeup stuff, and I had never seen any of it. So to be able to be a part of that and be in that was, I mean, crazy. But also I'm crazy. I just get so obsessed with things to a point where it's probably unhealthy. So I just got obsessed with it.
It makes sense to me. Jeffree Star is known for wearing makeup. He just wears makeup all the time. Wasn't there some crazy, when you say how many cancellations go, wasn't there something around the makeup with the Jeffree Star that was a big issue?
I don't remember.
I feel like the
You asking me or
if I
Shane?
remember, yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
I remember that wasn't there something about like a warehouse being robbed or something? Was that it?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing with Jeffrey, which is why he's such a amazing person to film. Like it's always something, and that at that time, that year, 2019, I would say is like the best year ever, but also was the worst year ever because every day it was like some shit's going down. Yeah, that day it was. Oh no, I got canceled for something, and then that same day, I was supposed to propose to my then boyfriend, and then Jeffrey called me and he's like, my warehouse has been robbed. And he had all these videos and pictures of these fucking guys scaling the walls and like dropping in through the ceiling and yeah, just robbing all this makeup, which at the time I didn't understand. Now I get it. But that makeup was worth so much money because it wasn't released yet. So it was kind of like getting leaked to other makeup companies so they could rip it off. I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
Wow.
And Jeffrey lives in Wyoming, right?
But he
And all
lives
of
there
his
full-time.
businesses are in Wyoming too.
I think so. I know he moved a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much money there is in makeup.
It's a lot of money, but it's also like it's scary. It's like it's like yeah, just things just the actual. I mean, I guess it's like Hollywood. Not that I've been. I mean, you've been in Hollywood. You get it. It's like it's just so cutthroat and crazy, and everything changes so fast. And if you're not trending anymore, if you're not this anymore, and then the up and the down and the enemies and it's like the mob. Like it was.
In what
Crazy.
sense? The makeup world or like the YouTube world?
I think the YouTube world. I mean, the YouTube world's like dramatic, I guess. I mean, but it's more low stakes. With the makeup world, it's people that there was just always something going on with these big companies because, like, yeah, they're making so much money. It was a lot. I'm happy that I mean, I love Jeffrey so much. But I'm happy I'm less around all the business stuff.
Yeah. You say that with trending and not trending. It's crazy to have a career in YouTube for 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like YouTube is so by definition just fickle, like there's always something new and like it's pretty impressive that you've endured for as long as you have.
Yeah. No, I think about that a lot. I mean, I'm really grateful. Like, it's been interesting. I mean, yeah, I started YouTube when it wasn't like a job or anything. People weren't making money from it, and I just was posting these weird videos like with my grandma and stuff. But I always wanted to make stuff. I just didn't know YouTube. I mean, it wasn't a thing. Sorry, I don't know if I'm making any sense. I don't know how to do this.
It makes perfect sense.
Don't you have a podcast?
Yeah, but here's the problem is I used to have a podcast where I would interview people.
Yeah.
And then I stopped doing that. I did that for years. And then I have a podcast now where it's like me, my husband, my brother, our camera guy, and we sit and we just like talk about random stuff. And I kind of like lead the conversation and set up the like little segments.
You deflect the conversation away from all your shit.
Yeah, because I'm,
Haven't you talked about this stuff before though? Or just not publicly?
I don't think I've talked about it like, yeah, not really. Like I'll touch on things in podcasts a little bit, but then I kind of stop because I don't want to. It's hard to talk about stuff because if you talk about it, people think you're trying to be a victim. If you say about certain things, they think you're manipulating or you're trying to change the narrative or all this shit. So I just don't talk about anything.
I mean, the fact that you're nervous about it is pretty authentic, I think. And like, it's better than having like, being prepared. Because you could tell when you start to talk about it, you stop talking about it, which means like there's shame around it. And like the neurons are just looping back to the same spot. And I think talking about it helps kind of connect new like neural pathways to where you're not like so, flight or fright with it. And it just gets easier and easier. But if you're not comfortable talking about anything, we don't have to talk about anything at all.
I think there's something to what you said too, that when you say the fact that Shane's nervous about it, there's something authentic about that. Like if you're really comfortable, like, oh yeah, let's talk about like that. I have no problem there. Then it feels like there's no gravity to it, and yeah,
there's certainly trauma around it because like I can when you're breathing out like that, like I'll do that in therapy, and like my therapist is like, dude, your brain doesn't know the difference between like you know, you running your because like when that kind of stuff happens, like you're operating off your reptilian brain. And so it's like your body doesn't know the difference whether you're running from a dinosaur or like somebody's just asking you a question because like it hasn't been processed. So, I mean, I think it's good to talk about it. And I mean, I think the worst has already happened.
Right.
And nobody's going to find out anything. You haven't lied about anything. So like, you know, saying shit, I think is okay. But I think the fact that you are nervous about it is a good thing because it's authentic.
Well, thank you. I mean, that exactly what you said. Sorry, I've like cotton mouth. Exactly what you said is what my therapist said too, which is like, yeah, I got into a place where I was in fight or flight mode 24 hours a day. Where like, I mean, not as much anymore. I don't want to seem like I'm like fucking like
Well,
I'm
you're
doing
showing
good.
up to do a podcast.
Right.
Like that's not yours. So that's
Right.
good.
But you know, like the last 2 years after I got canceled, and I was like, I'm done. Not making any videos ever again. I'm done. I went through, you know, not to get too, you know, whatever, but it was really bad. And then we moved. We moved to Colorado. That's where my husband's family is, and I'm really close to them. And I just wanted to get away for a bit. And also, we found this house out there that was unexpected. So we moved out there, and I had the best year of my whole life. Like 2020 was really bad, and 2021 was like, I wasn't on my phone. I wasn't on the internet. And it was the best year ever. And then around the end of 2021, I started thinking like, I do want to make stuff again. And like you said, it's like, I'm obviously ashamed of a lot of the old videos and the old sketches and stuff. But like you said, it's not like a secret thing. I didn't hurt anyone. I mean, I guess I hurt feelings, but I didn't physically hurt anyone. I didn't rape anyone. I didn't do anything to where I should be in hiding. It took me a long time to get to that place to believe that, but you know, that I shouldn't be in hiding or something. But
when we were coming out here and you're like, okay, I'm doing a podcast, where were you like, oh fuck, I don't want them to ask me this?
oh, I mean,
Or what was the shame or fear there about doing a podcast? Like, because I know there was maybe something specific that you thought about that you didn't want to go near.
I mean, it sounds whatever, but my biggest fear and why I say no to a lot of stuff like this, not that I'm getting asked a lot, but I say no a lot because I know the reaction is going to be possibly negative for you guys. So for me, I'm like, okay, I love you. I'm so grateful that you came on my show all those years ago. Like that was fucking insane. Like I still have people asking me about that. My brother's obsessed with you. So I wanted to say yes, but I know you're going to get shit and you're going to get comments. People are going to be like, can't believe you had him on and all this stuff. And then I'm not going to read it, but I don't want that to like fuck up your shit. And I don't want you to regret it. And yeah. So it's like a lot of like feeling like kind of the way I put it is I feel like I'm cancer in a way where I'm like this thing where if people are around me now, they can get canceled and that's probably ended. That was more probably a couple years ago, but it does feel like that, you know, like, oh, I'm this fucked up thing. And if you're near me, everybody's mad at you now. So I just kind of seclude.
Well, that's thoughtful, and you know, we appreciate that. I think that our whole kind of vibe is, it is what it is, you know. I think that the idea of there being negative comments, there's going to be negative comments no matter what you do. And I'm personally kind of interested in just the story of, you know, what happens after all that.
Right.
You know, like I think that a lot of people in the world would take the position that cancel culture went too far and that it's, you know, enough. And I think that having really, really taken the brunt of it and, you know, showing up to speak up for yourself after the fact, that there's some courage in that. And anybody who wants to, you know, kick you while you're down and you know, pile on to a bunch of traumatic stuff, like maybe what we're doing here is an exercise in shining a light on that and showing it to be unnecessary.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for, sorry, I promise I'm not like this all the time. Like,
No, it's okay. I mean, it's just honestly, it's better that you're not like, you know,
right.
zany
Cavalier.
and fucking.
I know.
Hi,
Hey guys.
I'm back. Like, I mean, this is like
Right,
what,
right.
like, you know.
Right. I mean, I think I have gotten past it. Like I mean, weirdly enough, so I hadn't done therapy in a few years, and I started back up again right at the beginning of COVID. And I told the therapist, I was like, I was trying to explain to her my job and explain to her like my issues and my triggers. Because at that time, every day, my routine would be, I would get up, I would go on Twitter, and I would pray to God that I wasn't trending for something bad, because it was happening a lot my whole career. So, and if I wasn't trending, it was a good day. But then every like 5 hours, I would have to check. And sometimes it would be there. And it would be like, oh, it's an old joke from a video. And then I would go through this whole thing where it's like, I can't explain it, but it feels like your stomach is fucking eating itself and you feel like you're dying and you fight or flight and all that shit.
It's called anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I would go through that a lot. And I was trying to explain it to her. And then literally like 2 months later, I got canceled. And I would say it was bad. Like it was probably the worst cancel situation I've seen. And it was so intense, and it like fucked up my family and like my friends, and it was really bad. But luckily I was in therapy, so she was guiding me through the whole thing. And now it's been like 2.5 years, and I'm so good. So I don't want you to think I'm like.
Is it true that at the point when it really kind of took a left turn, that your videos were getting like 40 million views per video?
Mm-hmm. Which isn't good. Like, listen, I'm so grateful for that, and like that's awesome. But I was never enjoying it. Like, and I know that sounds like I'm bullshitting, but I really wasn't, because I
What, the videos or the amount of views you're
the
getting?
views, or like because my
The annoying money that was
I mean, listen, you would think my CPMs on YouTube have always been fucked. So, but either way, whatever. I'm grateful for it, but no, I wasn't enjoying it because it was always, what's next? What do I do? What if the
Right.
next one doesn't do well? And I would freak out about it, and I'd be
Right.
like, well, that's not good enough. And I would film all these videos and never post them, because I'm just like, well, it's not going to get 40 million views. People are going to think it sucks. What do I do? What do I do? And it was getting so bad to where my relationship was fucked up. My eating issues were fucked up. I was just in the worst headspace, but I was getting all these views. So it was the weirdest, like, and then I got canceled. Thank God, because I figured my shit out. And,
I seem to recall that, when we got together for your podcast years ago, that you had like a crazy upload schedule, that you would put up like 3 videos every week.
yeah.
And I remember just thinking, how do you come up with that much content? And I think the answer was that you would have regular creative meetings to just determine what are the videos going to be, and then you just make them.
I wish. No. That's a good idea. I've tried to find people in the past that I could do that with, like come up with, things like that. But no, that was mostly just like back when I was doing 5 videos a week. That was when I was just like, okay, kind of on autopilot. Like, okay, these are the things I enjoy doing. I'm just going to make videos about them. I'm going to shoot them all in a day. I'm going to, lose my mind over that. That was a bad time period for me, just because I really was not enjoying it, like at all. Like I was like, okay, I have to keep going, because if I stop, people are mad at me, because they're like, why aren't you posting today? What happened to the video? So I was just on autopilot doing it. And then I got into a pretty serious relationship, and I started posting less, and I started like,
When all the kind of world's crumbling around you, and you're going from 40 million views on a video, and then all of a sudden now you're not posting, or even before that, were you thinking about like just taking the money that you had earned in your career and putting it to work for you in other ways, so that you don't have to be in the spotlight anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like, this is such a weird thing to talk about, but I don't want people to think I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't have as much money as I think people think I do, because the makeup thing, people thought I made like $20 million, and I did not. And I've never killed it on YouTube, like financially, just because my videos have been controversial. So it's not like I had enough money where I could just retire or something. So, but I did know, I was like, okay, around right before I got canceled, I was really depressed. I didn't know what I was going to make next. I felt uninspired. I felt like, okay, I already did everything on YouTube I wanted to do. I want to make a movie, but nobody's giving me the money to make a movie. So I was going to fund my own movie, which would have cleaned me out. But I was like, but it's going to be worth it because I'm crazy. I'm like, it's going to be worth it and blah, blah, blah. And then I got canceled and I didn't do it. Thank God. That would have been the stupidest decision in the world. But, so yeah, sorry, I forgot your question. Yeah.
Well, it's just like, kind of, I've viewed it as a way of getting out of the attention whore business.
Yes.
I'm an attention whore, and like for me, the ultimate dream, the ultimate goal is to have an out. If it's some some business thing that I can get going, like
Wait, you can see yourself in a situation where you're out of the camera's eye.
I mean, like I was
Like, no, never.
I'd like to get in front of a camera because it's my choice to,
Okay.
not
Right.
because for me the most upsetting, like traumatizing, depressing stuff is documentaries / biopics about like Hollywood personalities, movie stars, entertainers who like in the final stages of their life were dead broke
Yeah.
and like doing everything they could to milk their former self and their
Yeah, I just saw
like-
Mike Tyson did Hangover 2 just to fuel his cocaine habit because he didn't have any more money. That could be wrong, but like he was like, dude, these guys were like, what the fuck is this guy doing on here? And he's like, I just had to get some money for my cocaine.
I can't even imagine he got that much money for that. But like people had that come to mind. There's a movie called Stan and Ollie, and it's the story of Laurel and Hardy. And here these guys were in their like 60s and 70s, like going on tour, like beating themselves up, doing all this slapstick
Like Judy
comedy.
Garland.
Judy Garland, perfect example. Buster Keaton, Buster Keaton's the biggest legend ever, the most iconic, like old school Hollywood guy. And in his late years, he was just down and out. And like, I don't want to be like dead broke in the later stages of my life. I don't want to be having to beat myself up like for money. I don't want to just be in that undignified situation. So I'm always trying to think about a way to get out.
Do you have an end number in mind of where you can retire? You don't have to say it, but like, is there a number?
I do not.
No. Well, let's start there and we can work backwards.
Yeah,
you, Shane?
that's what Rosie O'Donnell did. Sorry, side note.
What, she had a goal?
Yeah, so she's like one of my favorite talk show hosts when I was little, and she had her talk show, and it only went for like 4 or 5 years, and she canceled it, and they were like, "Why? You were making all this money?" And she's like, "I hit $100 million in my bank account," and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm out."
Yeah.
And she's been out since. I mean, she went back for a few things, but yeah, like $100 million in her mind was like the number, and I was like, "Damn, that is so crazy." It's so crazy to think about that much money, but also to think about like it was only 4 years. She could have kept going for another 15 years, and she would have $1 billion, but she didn't care. Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah. You're going to hate me for doing this, but I'm going to go deep.
Okay.
You brought up the fact that like you didn't want to come on people's podcasts because you felt like a cancer. But did you always feel like a cancer? Like, was that's not the first time that you felt coming on? Because the reason I say that is because, your whole idea of like making videos would be for shock value.
Right.
And I would think that like to have that kind of a thought system, you kind of had like a lot of resentment in you before you started making videos and you found out like that, you can make videos and then you became shocking and maybe in your head you were like fuck it, I like fuck everybody. I feel like a cancer anyway in life, so like I'm just gonna go. Like you felt justified by going that hard. Is that some level of accuracy to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds weird, but I am not like as a human, as a person, I'm not like a gross person. I'm not like a shocking person in my real life. I'm not making crazy gross jokes. I've never been that. I've always been really quiet. So with the videos, I mean, I grew up watching, Scary Movie and, Chappelle and all those things. So that was kind of how what I liked formed. And I love playing characters and wearing wigs and doing all these things. And I do love getting a reaction. Like I would make these videos and I would show my mom, who's like really religious Christian. And my favorite part of making the videos would be watching my mom's reactions, because it was so like, I love when people scream because they're laughing, or they scream because they're shocked. It's just like, oh my God. And so I was doing that, and I did it in high school. Like I would do these video projects in high school, and the teachers would freak out because they were like, I can't believe he did this. Like, what the fuck? And that was kind of, the beginning of that. So yeah, but it was weird because then when I'm not in these videos, I'm not that at all. So that was kind of weird because people thought, oh.
But why go that route in your videos? Like shock value? Like,
I think because I just love it. People were really liking the videos, and I was, being asked to go to YouTube things, and I had YouTube friends, and but there were a few people that were mad and were calling it out, and I was, being like, no, well, people think it's funny, and I'm not trying to be offensive, so it's fine, which is stupid. I should have listened to those people, but yeah, it wasn't like I never wanted to be that, right? Like I never wanted to be the person that's making all this horrible shit. Like that was not what I wanted to do. Yeah. Like I wanted to, like even some of these videos that were so offensive that when you look back, they're like the most offensive ones. The moral of the video would be about suicide or, anti-bullying, or would be about eating disorders or something I dealt with. And I would wrap that into the video. So, which doesn't make sense when you watch it. It's like, why is he doing all this horrible shit? But then at the end, he's trying to do something meaningful. And I don't know. I honestly don't know why I was doing that. Like do
you ever have any cool stories of like people you're actually like helping people out with the mental health and them like calling and getting saved and all that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think because I was so open about my issues from when I started, doing stuff on the internet, and because I've done so many videos about suicide, about cutting or eating disorder, because I've done so much of that over the years, I think a lot of people did get something out of that. And I've talked to a lot of people that have, and but yeah, I don't know.
What is like cutting? Like, why do people cut? Is it because they feel dead inside and they want to like feel alive? Is that the action of the cutting? Because I know that's something.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's different for everyone. I think it's kind of like, so I never cut, but this is kind of gross to talk about, but I had a lot of things I did, but one of them was I would like pick my skin, which is stupid. You should not do that, but I kind of still do it a little bit. And I do it because I'm anxious or thinking about something or and it's just something I do when I'm working through something or not dealing with something. And I think cutting for some people is kind of like, well, I don't want to think about all these things and I don't want to whatever. So I'm going to put all my pain into one place and I can only focus on the pain.
I feel like it's the same with like drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Having to just numb what you're going through,
But you don't do drugs or alcohol?
No, I used to like drinking, but now I can't. My stomach hurts every time.
Really?
So now I can't. I mean, my issues are like food.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Fucking
Right.
Yeah, I'm not picking on you. I'm just fascinated, with different like patterns and certain things, and I've always been interested in that. I knew a pretty girl who picked her skin a lot, and when she told me that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why she always wears long sleeves, And it's like, I don't know, I found it fascinating. But yeah, it's all the same facet of covering up something at the root cause.
Yeah, so not to keep bringing him up, but Jeffrey, one of the first things I found out about him when I was doing that series on him was he's full body tattoos, right? Like full body, like that's his thing. And then he showed me and he was explaining that he started getting tattoos to cover up his cut scars. And I was like, what? And then I looked closer and his entire like body is covered in scars. I was just like, whoa. Like, so yeah, I've talked to him about it. He's kind of explained. So my knowledge on cutting and why people do it and stuff is kind of based on what he's told me. But yeah, people, I don't know, everybody has their thing and, yeah, life sucks a lot. But no, it's also great. It's also great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I saw a video on my YouTube feed the other day. It said why you should stop worrying or something like this will make you stop worrying. Okay, that's interesting. I clicked on it and it said like, hundreds of billions of years ago there was nothing, and it was just kind of putting into perspective like how minute, and like we're on a speck of dust, and after watching it I really did feel a lot more calm, and that it quelled my worrying, and I thought, you know what, I should just watch stuff like this all the time. Like, let me get to populate my feed with videos about why, like, ain't no thing.
Yeah, they asked if you, when you think, do you think in the future or the past?
Probably I'm more of a future tripper.
Future. So if you think in the future, you're more anxious. If you think in the past, you're more depressed.
Whoa.
Oh, 100%.
But the right answer is if you ask like somebody like, you know, do you think in the past or the future, and you just say, I think in the present.
Do you believe them? I don't believe
What do you think about? Do you think about the
them.
past?
The past.
Are you depressed?
Yes, you're right. That's so crazy. I never thought about that.
And if you think in the future, you're kind of just future tripping, you're nervous, you're anxious.
I'm anxious too.
I'm 100% future tripper.
Yeah,
Super
well, of course,
anxious.
me too. I mean, I think but everybody's like, you know, just think in the presence and mindfulness, but nobody does that. I mean, it's hard to, you know, that's why they have the rubber bands where they snap out, or
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they cut because they want to live in the present. But yeah, it's just, I mean, mental health is a whole other fucking beast. I read this book back in 2001. It was called like the Feeling Good Handbook by some fucking doctor. But it was the #1 book recommended to people in between therapy. And like, he would just go into these people's lives. Like this one lady would wash her hands 1,000 times a day because she thought the dirt on her hands would give her kids leukemia. So she was just constantly washing her hands. And he had thousands and thousands of case studies by this, where he would read you off the transcripts in the therapy. And he'd be like, okay, well, why do you think that the dirt on your hands are going to give your kids leukemia? And she's like, well, because if I kill them, like, then I'll be all alone. He's like, okay, well, what happens if you're all alone? And then he just keeps breaking it down. And, you know, and then they go, well, when I was younger, I was alone because my parents divorced. And he's like, okay, why was that so bad? And it's like, well, because it was my fault that my parents divorced. And so like, once he made her flip her script on like, it wasn't her fault that her parents divorced, she stopped washing her hands so much. But he had like hundreds of cases like this where he would just go through it, and it's all just a stem of fucking whatever, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, it sucks to squander the moments that could be wonderful with worry about things that have not even happened.
And 99% of them never do. You know?
It's so true.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in the final analysis, my life will have been squandered over worry about, you know.
Just gotta keep playing that video.
And I know. and I look at like our work schedule. You know, we've just been gone in Australia and New Zealand for a month and a week. And it was like a pretty miserable existence. You know, if
I
we're
got out there
honest.
like 10 days before you guys, so I was
Right.
just fucking deep in the cut.
It was gnarly, and you know, and I just have this default setting where it's like everything is not going to be okay. I have to work, like to try to make it so that everything's going to be okay, because it's not going to be okay. I gotta earn, and like my quality of life, like, is not important. What's important is later trying to make it so everything's going to be okay. And I'm throwing my present quality of life out the window to try to secure okayness in the future, and I'm still convinced that everything's not going to be okay.
Yeah, well, you don't even have an end number in mind that you're working towards. You're just
Right.
digging with
Yeah.
no fucking how many feet do you want to go down? I don't know. You're just digging.
Nonstop.
It'd probably become a little bit easier to like, you know, it's more palpable if you have a number in mind. Then you're like, okay, let's start there.
Right.
Work backwards, but
But even if you hit that number, I feel like you would still.
Well, that's
You're
the
not-
crazy
even if then he
part.
gets a blue check mark, he's still going to be fucking pissed. Will you tell him that a blue check mark isn't that big of a deal on Instagram?
Oh, you want a blue check?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Isn't it not real anymore? Like, don't you?
Yeah, I heard
Exactly.
you could pay for it now.
Yeah, now you can pay for
which
it.
is lame.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had a crazy brain fart.
What do you have any goals? I mean, what's going on with, like, what do you want to do out of life now, or like any new perspective shift, or like, is there a new Shane Dawson? Like, what's changed? What do you want to do with your life? Do you have any purpose?
Yeah, I mean, my life. We're having a baby, hopefully 2 or 3. So we're doing that, and I mean, the surrogate is being implanted in a few weeks, so that's happening, which I'm so excited about.
How much legal red tape is there before that? Because isn't it like a...
And the prices, That's the darkest part is pressing purchase on a mother. Like it's like,
What, on a surrogate?
well, so that's the other thing I didn't know. So egg donors, this might be boring. Sorry guys. Egg donors is different. So like the egg donor is who is the mother, and then they put your sperm in the egg, and then they put it in a surrogate who has no like connect. They're
No genetic.
Right.
Yeah.
Whose
So they're two
sperm did they
different
put in there? You or your husband?
So we did both of our sperm. In
Oh, so what, you guys just do a double batch?
And then you just mixed it together?
They cook it all up, and well, that's the other thing too. Because I'm like, well, would I mean, I know what I look like as a girl. It's not great, but I'm like, but do I want? Oh, never mind. I was going to say something really dark. But yes, so it is.
Wow, you're showing progress here.
Thank you. Well, I'm thinking about my future kid watching this. You know what I mean?
There you go.
That changes everything. Like if I would have known I was going to have kids one day that would have the internet, that everything stays there forever, and then they can go and be like, Daddy, what is this? I never would have done any of it. I mean, I don't regret it. I think everything happens for a reason. But so yes, we're cooking them up.
What do you mean by cooking them up?
I was going in along with his mixing thing, but
Right.
you know, like, so yeah, we have 12 potential children, I believe, 12, 6 of mine, 6 of his. Or do we have 24?
Sperm.
I don't remember. Yes.
Oh, so you're saying there's 12 eggs,
Yeah.
and they can keep an egg viable, like in a freezer?
Well, that's the other thing. So the embryos, so the number kind of keeps going down. It's like, oh, we got 30 whatever eggs. Okay, only this many survived. Okay, only this many sperms attached. So now we're left with 12, 6 boys, 6 girls, 6 of mine, 6 of his.
And they're embryos.
And they're frozen. So they're like 2 weeks old each, which I didn't know.
2-week-old, like, human babies?
Right. Well,
yeah.
And now I'm thinking like, I got to bring them all because like, what, there's just mean some frozen forever that are 2 weeks old? Like they're alive in my head. I don't know. Maybe that's...
Han Solo.
So what, you want to have all 12
No, I don't
at
know.
the same time?
No, well, no.
Like fucking Octomom? Is that the Octomom?
That's the new Shane. No.
That's your new
Yeah.
show.
The reality show, man. I would
Yeah, that's-
explode.
Yikes.
Bad track records for,
Yeah.
for those things.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, I think we want to have 3 kids, but now that we have 12, I don't know what to do. We should start giving them to people. I don't know. That's bad. I can't do that.
Is the auction button on your website?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's that. I mean, but as far as like career stuff, I just really want to make a horror movie. That's kind of I have 2 scripts written, and one of them kind of fell through in the last couple months. So now I'm kind of rerouting and trying to get this one made. But yeah, that's kind of my goal. But that's gonna. I mean,
I'm more like I'm not quite satisfied yet with the surrogate. Like
Okay.
that like, and I'm just interested. It's very common, I think, that a surrogate mother will, you know, after growing this baby inside of them, have some attachment, and then like you know, get cold feet or whatever, and say, I don't want to give up the baby. It's my baby.
right.
I wasn't aware of the baby inside them not being genetically theirs. That's a different wrinkle. But presumably they still have some kind of attachment, and there's all kinds of legal
Yeah.
paperwork, like, you know, so what's the legal process like in establishing the agreement with the surrogate? And what's the interpersonal kind of, do you develop a relationship with them before picking them?
Right. Yeah, it was wild. We started like a year and a half ago. Actually, no, I think just a year ago. And so first we had to pick the egg donor. And we instantly, both of us knew. We didn't tell each other, but we knew the donor. And then I said it and he said it. And we were like, oh my God, that's the one. So we picked her.
Why? What about her?
I don't know. It was just like a weird, like, God
My sister
universe thing.
had a sperm donor. She was artificially inseminated. My niece, who is such a fan of yours. And what struck me about the process was that by the time you make it through all of the screening, they've determined that there is no no medical problems to worry about, like going through the whole family tree. Everybody in the family tree is all healthy into their like 80s, like they're all like college educated, like it's just great. It's almost like the Olympics of being an impressive person, that you have to, like, you know, by the time you become a donor, like you're just kind of documented as being like just the picture of health and accomplishment. And so that is pretty impressive.
Well, the thing with sperm donors too, because my therapist, we were talking about it, and she had used sperm donor in the past, and she was like, what's crazy is like, when you're picking the sperm donor, there's like levels, like financial levels. Like, okay, if you pay an extra $100, you can get a voice note from them, so you can hear their voice. If you pay another $100, they'll draw you a picture. I'm like, this is the most
GoFundMe.
fucked. It's like OnlyFans. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So it's bizarre. I mean, the whole process is extremely depressing and amazing, and it took a lot of like mental gymnastics to figure out how to not get depressed about it. But after meeting both of them and really
The egg donor and the surrogate.
yeah, and getting, their stories and why they're doing this, because that was my fear. I'm like, well, how could they have the baby and not want to keep it? How is that possible?
Right.
But the girl who's donating the eggs, she was born through egg donors because her parents used them. So she had like a connection to that. She's done it once before. And her whole thing was, she was like, I would love to be in some kind of, I'd like to be updated or be, I don't want it to be a thing where I give my eggs and I don't know anything after that. And I was like, great, because I wanted to be able to tell our kids.
Sounds like entanglements. Sounds like strings attached. You got to deal with this person.
I wanted that though, because I want to be able to tell my kids one day, because, listen, I'm realistic about it too. And some people get mad when I say this. And by some people, I mean people in my family. But I'm like, I want to be honest with my kid. I know they're going to see a commercial where there's a mommy and they're going to be like, why don't I have a mommy? And they're going to have some issues with that. They're going to be sad about that. And I want to be able to explain it to them. And also, when they're ready, show them a picture. Or, I don't want it to be this weird, fucked up secret that fucks them up.
That sounds like egg donor is way different than sperm donor, because in the case of the sperm donor, it's you can find out their whole family tree's medical history, their whole family tree's education history, like everything about them, but you cannot, like legally, you cannot get their name, or like it's sort of a rite of passage for adopted kids to go and track down their biological parents. Like you hear about it a lot, and it's like it's a thing. But in the case of someone who was artificially inseminated with this donor sperm, it is 0.0. There is no rite of passage for my niece to go and find her biological father, because it is like legally precluded. You definitely cannot get a picture of the person.
Well, I also, now that I'm thinking about it, I really hope I don't want to offend anybody that, I don't want it to seem like if you don't know who your father is or your mom is,
I mean, hey,
fucked up.
dude.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that.
Don't trip, because I think that's just natural, human consideration.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but it is, with the surrogate too, so she's done this before. And I asked her, like, how do you, because she has kids of her own. I'm like, how do you explain this to your kid, that you have other babies that they don't, whatever. And so she had like a word for it, like surro sister. So like, she's very open with her daughter. And I just want it to be open. I don't want it to be weird or like secretive, just because my childhood had a lot of some secretive, weird shit. And, I think that is in turn what made me, really delve into food and fucked up a lot of things for me. Once again, everything happens for a reason, so I'm fine with it. But, I just want to, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out.
What's your food of choice?
Okay, let me think. Well, I mean, nachos. I guess I didn't have to think. Anything Mexican food. Mexican
Mexican
burrito. Oh, my God.
Carbs.
Yeah.
I'm a sugar guy.
I'm a carbs guy.
Really?
Sugar for me
Yeah.
too.
I guess I'm both. I mean, I like Mexican food, but I also like, I like desserts. I mean, I don't know when I'll ever figure that out. Like,
It's a hard one because you have to eat.
you have to, and because I was like 400 pounds in high school. And then
Wow.
I lost like 200 pounds when I was 18 through very unhealthy ways. And I kept it off for a long time. But then it's like, when you fuck up your metabolism that much, you kind of have to starve yourself to stay thin. And that's when I started YouTube. And then, so I've just gone up and down and up and down. And now I don't weigh myself. So I don't even know what I am anymore. But I thought I'd be done with this by now.
Your unhealthy ways were laxatives?
No, I mean,
Because I took a laxative I was talking to our buddy Bill, and I was like, dude, like, he asked me that question, and he's like, are you ever doing laxative? I was like, Yeah, like, once in a while when I get back from a trip or something, he's like, dude, be careful because a lot of people fucking have laxative addictions. And I'm like, that's a thing? He's like, oh my God. He's like, dude, he's like, I couldn't go anywhere without fucking laxatives. He's like, I would just do
Really?
laxatives every day because you can lose weight. And you can eat whatever you want and shit it out.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like being a
Binging, purging.
Purging, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I did.
Did that fuck up your esophagus at all?
So I had like 2 situations where blood came out, and I was like, oh my God, because that's the biggest fear with bulimia is that at any point your esophagus can explode and you'll die. Like that's
Well, you
that's
also
it.
have a heart attack.
Heart attack.
From throwing up?
It makes you anemic, is that right? And then the lack of iron in your blood will lead to a heart attack.
Yeah.
And like at a young ass age.
You had issues with that too, right? From throwing up, or
I don't know what the cause of my esophageal issues was. Acid reflux, barfing, drugs. Like, I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
Wow. So hope nobody's eating. Sorry I just brought
No,
up, like,
I mean we all have fucking issues. You just never know,
Right.
We all look different, but we have the same issues.
Oh yeah, especially like, the food stuff is, I'm almost 35. I was like, how, in my head when I was little, I was like, oh, by the time I'm in my 30s, I'm going to be fine. Like, I'm not going to have any problems. And every year it does get a little easier because I care a little less what I look like, but it still does come down to like, in my head, I'm 400 pounds and I feel, even like, to be honest, so I would say 50% nervous about doing this because I didn't want to be a bad guest because I didn't want to be afraid to answer stuff and be weird. My other 50% was like, oh, I feel fat. Especially right now. I'm like, oh, I feel fat, so I'm going to look fat. Like, oh my God, whatever. So it's like, yeah, it's still something that's like.
Dude, I go through the same shit every day.
Dude,
I
I'm
feel
fucking
fat.
stoked it's cold outside. I
I'm
get to
wearing
wear
a fucking jacket.
dude.
That's what, when he pulled up and I ran outside and I was sweating and I had my jacket on and I looked in here and I'm like, oh, it could get hot in there and I'm wearing a jacket, but like, there's no other fucking option. Like, I'm wearing this fucking
Yeah,
jacket.
somebody has body dysmorphia when they're wearing hoodies in the summer.
Summer, yeah.
It's like in
Or a
Australia,
uniform.
I fucking did it. It was fucking 107.
Yeah, and then you just have to lie to people and be like, "No, I'm like weird. I'm
I run
I'm like fine
cold.
like this." And they're like, "You're sweating," and I'm like, "Oh,
Am I? Don't
Really?
judge me. And you just deflect it.
just showered."
I find that I'm feeling a great deal of compassion for you, and
Thank you.
like I see, like I can.
You're honest. You're vulnerable.
I can feel like the trauma of like everything that's happened with cancel culture, and I kind of like, I can just maybe it's like empathy, but I can feel your pain, and it makes me it cultivates compassion. I want everything to be okay for you.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing ever. I mean, sorry that I'm making you feel bad.
No. I mean, it's not like
Yeah, like that's.
yeah, you're gonna make me feel bad, but it's like I don't know, like Scott said, here you've like the fact of you being nervous,
I mean, I could see the indicators of like picking your fingers. Like you're uncomfortable talking about this shit. Clearly, you're blowing out. You're like.
yeah, but to Scott's
But
point,
that's
there's
real. That's vulnerable.
yeah, to Scott's point, there's like
It's okay if you pick your finger.
I know. Now I'm like, oh fuck.
No, I always notice things like that with people because I'm the same way too.
I remember at one of our sober functions talking to a sober guy, and just expressing to him that that like I felt really just ashamed of what I had become, like what I turned into with drugs and alcohol, and I was like, yeah, like it's probably not good to be so like shameful about it. And this guy said, no, dude, like regret is absolutely healthy and important and the way forward. And I think that when Scott points out that you're nervous about this, that that like that there's that, like it takes me back to that sober guy telling me how valuable regret is. If you don't like regret things that then you're never going to learn from your mistakes unless you properly regret them.
Yeah, and you don't get humbled. I mean, I think back to like how I was in high school, and people like talk about from like 16 to fucking 24. Like, I don't like to think back about the person I was because, I mean, I was a fucking asshole.
Anytime Scott starts a story with one time when I was in high school, you know it's going to be the most outrageously entertaining story.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I don't even like to identify with that person anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
But do you consider regret and shame the same thing?
No.
Because I'm shameful of most of my past, but I don't regret most of it.
Ooh, other way around.
Yeah.
You wanna constructively regret things, remember mistakes, and regret them constructively so as to not repeat the behavior.
For sure.
But shame, as I understand it, is not constructive. That's like you regret an action. You have shame about a person. Like shame is more. I'm shameful of who I am.
Okay.
And what I am, versus like separate the action from the person.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I suppose it follows that you do something
You
you're ashamed
regret
of.
it, but people, I think what addiction comes down to is a shame addiction. Like
Yeah.
you're addicted to feeling the shame because you feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you want to identify with that shame. So you keep doing shameless acts.
Yeah.
Shameful, yeah.
Shameful.
I remember talking to somebody about like this little inner dialogue, this negotiation about whether or not I'm going to have a dessert after a meal. It's like I want to have it, but I know that I'm going to be ashamed of it. I know that I'm like, as soon as I get done eating it, I'm going to regret it. I'm going to feel ashamed about it. And somebody suggested to me that it's actually more than the pleasure of eating the dessert. The actual reward is the shame. That you choose to eat the dessert because you derive some kind of perverse pleasure in the cycle of shame.
Yeah,
And that you're actually like, it's an exercise in
Totally.
in here's an opportunity. I'm going to give myself to beat myself up because there's this perverse.
it's a core belief of
Wow.
like what you believe yourself to be. Like, well, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And the shame matches up to that like value.
Yeah, I think that's what the cutting is motivated by too.
Hey,
That,
everything.
Like I'm a bad person and I deserve for bad things to happen to me, and so here I'm gonna cut myself, and that's gonna
The hell?
you got I don't know.
What's going on with this RV life?
Turn it on. Is the blue button on?
It's on.
I think if you turn that, then the lights are gonna go out. Yeah.
You feel good about it? You feel good that you've talked about all this?
Oh, I thought you meant about my eating. I was like, well, now I'm realizing the shame part.
But I mean, is there anything that you like? Was it as difficult? I mean, I feel like you faced some shit coming in here, and like you're on the other side of it. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful that I'm comfortable, with, I don't think because I haven't really talked about this stuff in this type of a way. I try to like make jokes about it or get out of it, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy to talk about stuff. I think it's hard because in my real life, I've moved past it and I'm happy and things are good and like, way better than before I got canceled as far as like my work-life balance and everything is good. But yeah, it's weird. Like the second I start talking about it, I almost like go right back into that place I was in, which shows that I really am not past it because I can so easily fall right back into that feeling of like my life is over.
Well, they say one of the best things about like and I'm not like preaching 12-step, but I was listening to a guy talk about one of the good things about like having that at a group level is that when everybody comes into those rooms, there's shame. And the practice of speaking out publicly, like whatever it is that you're, and nobody's judging you, rewires the neurons in your brain to where it becomes easier and easier to talk about because when you talk about it, nobody's like saying shit. And you're like, oh, it's not that bad. And that's like one of the benefits of like speaking at a group level or even with us, like it's not as bad as you think it is in your head. Because you're only as sick as your secrets. So.
Yeah, there's a difference between being in a safe environment with
YouTube
people
world.
that you know aren't going to be judged, and then subjecting yourself to like mass criticism on like a
Yeah, well, that's-
platform
yeah,
of
yeah.
millions of people. So, but there's certainly, no judgment here,
Thank you. I mean, no, I appreciate it, and I want to get better at like talking about stuff. I think, and I've tried to do it on my podcast, but then I always just shut down because I don't know. I don't want to. It's just really complicated. It's hard to talk about cancel stuff, cancel culture, when like I'm not delusional. I know why I got canceled. I understand it. I get it. I feel sorry about it. But yeah, it was a lot, and I don't think any person should be put through that, because if I didn't have Ryland, I'd be dead. Like, so I want to at some point talk about it more, because I feel I got to talk about it in therapy a lot. I'm like, I want to do something for people, because cancel culture isn't just on YouTube. It's everywhere. It's in people. Like, I've had people that I know who have lost jobs because of a patient who said something that wasn't true, and then this and that. It's like it's happening everywhere, and so many people feel like this. So it's like, yeah, at some point I do want to get better at talking about it, because I am grateful that I am okay after all of that. But it's hard to talk about that, because then people are like, oh, you're trying to, fucking feel bad about or be a victim and this and that. So then I just say, well, fuck it. I'm just not going to talk about it.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that you can do though is just to like make a joke, make a joke about it, or at least because then that's just it's a deflection for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more that you're honest and vulnerable about it, it always reminds me of this. The word personality comes from the root word persona, which means to wear a mask.
Mm.
And I always like the people that have the best personalities in the world just makes me think of like that they're covering up the most, So if somebody's like, hey, what's like, they're just too on and they're too charismatic. It's like that person's really hurt inside.
Right.
So you don't, I think, want to make a joke about anything you've ever done, because it's not funny and everybody knows it's not funny. So just be real about it. Just be like, fuck, dude. You were pretty honest and vulnerable with us, and that's a lot easier than being like, okay, so anyway.
That is so fucking true, because at the beginning, when I started trying to get back into making stuff again, I was really making a lot of jokes about suicide. Like, too much. Borderline, like, why was I doing that? And in the moment, I try not to do this, but I watched like a video of somebody reacting to the video, because it was my first one back in, since I had been canceled. And one of the suicide jokes came up, and the person was just like, And I was like, oh, I just felt so embarrassed. I felt so stupid.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's like, it put me back in high school when I would be the first one to make the fat joke, so that like people wouldn't, I'm like in on the joke. Hee, like I get it. I have titties, like whatever. So it put me in that same space where I'm like, oh, so now that's my new thing. I'm trying not to make jokes about how I look, and I'm trying not to make suicide jokes and all these things, because they are real, and I do use humor. But yeah, there is a certain point where it makes people feel like, ooh, this is dark.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, yeah.
But everybody does it, so don't beat yourself up for it. I mean, fuck, dude. I probably made 20 mistakes like that today. But it's like, I think being aware of it really makes a difference, to where, like, if you do it, don't beat yourself up. Just like, fuck.
Right.
I did it, and then move on.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it's like, everybody's depressed in here now, dude.
I know, sorry. I really was trying to, like, I was like, oh, what should I talk about? Oh, I'll try to think of something funny. Like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Dude, it's
I feel
all,
like I ruined the vibe.
I think, for what it's worth, I think that Scott's points are valid. I think that, to show up and kind of face everything going on and be nervous about it and accountable for it, I think that's the best you can do. And I think that for what it's worth, that it went really well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to overthink it later and be like, oh, I fucked that up. I fucked that up. But thank you.
And here we are once again, my wonderful street team, the beautiful people who stick around to the end of the podcast. There's some stuff I want to say to you. Last week we had the episode with Bam, and I don't have anything to apologize for. Just want to put that out there. And Shane Dawson, I'm glad we did that too. Don't feel apologetic about that either. And man, I'm still in Australia, and what a trip this has been. There's a video that we made out here that is wildly naughty. I don't even know where we can put it, except of course at steveoraw.com where it is. But whew, man, it's been a wild trip, man, and I love you guys. Thank you for sticking around. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the universe, I bring to you Gene Simmons.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. My man. Okay, so thank you for doing this.
Sure.
It's a
How old are these goddamn sneakers? What the fuck is that? You're a rich man. What are you doing with these? You wear the same socks for a week, right? Tell me the truth.
not for a week, but for years. I keep washing them and washing them. It is probably time that
Is this a religious preference? Like what?
I don't know. I had the habit of dropping off my laundry at the what's called the Fluff and Fold. It's the
I
laundromat.
just drop off the kids at the pool.
And I don't want to make it more difficult for the people who do the laundry at the Fluff and Fold. So I make sure that I have one uniform style of socks so they don't have to search for different ones to match together.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Bullshit.
Right. Okay,
You're
so
a giver.
yeah,
Yeah, you want to take care of the planet and
for sure.
less carbon in your socks or whatever.
Yep.
What's
less
in detergents? Not carbon, crack. What is it?
What, the BPA? I don't know.
Yeah,
IOU, LSD. Just
Oh.
just letters.
yeah.
Okay, let's get to it because there's some
Okay.
good eating in there.
Yeah, there is. We are parked outside of Gene's restaurant called Rock and Brews.
Rock and Brews. I have an inferred fiduciary duty, so here's one of our versions of the logos, and we have we're almost next door to LAX, but
There's
inside
one
of
in LAX too, right?
we have two at LAX, which are the number 1 and number 2 restaurants in any airport, and then we have 30 others across America, and 3 to 5 casinos so far. Rock and Brews casinos, more coming along the way. Yeah.
What's your favorite meal that they serve?
Well, I was a groundbreaking member. That meant, when we first broke ground, literally, these are semantics, but I'm not anti-semantic. So I was there a few years ago breaking ground, and we all paid close attention, and it's a very good question, to not okay, here's the menu, but what is it that people want? Same things, like what do you like, what do you like, what do you like? And because it's a people's palace in essence. We all grew up with rock, and so this is the soundtrack of our lives, all your favorite bands. That's why it's all, the stuff is all over the place, the music that you grew up with and everything. So if you want to watch your girlish figure, well, not you so much, but if you want to watch your girlish figure, not you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably. You can have salads that are ginormous or, all that stuff. And then you can have burgers the size of your mom's ass, just big, fluffy,
yeah.
big, fluffy things. And then we have pretzels, which are ginormous. You can't finish it. They're just awfully big. And everything in between. Look at the size of that baby.
Yeah.
It's like the size of my mom's ass.
It's ginormous. And they're all beer soaked. And for those that like to take a swig of elixir, you can actually taste test anywhere from 50 to 100 craft beers. So we support local breweries across the country, wherever our Rock and Brews are. We got local breweries, so the beers are fresh right off the tap, so you can taste them. And some people just come in to taste test the stuff. As a matter of fact, a few miles down the road in Redondo Beach, we have a huge Rock and Brews, completely open, can seat up anywhere from 750 to 1,000 customers at once. That might be no, that's the El Segundo one. That's where we are now. And over there you can pre-order the beer, so at the table you can pour.
Oh,
pour your
wow.
own.
Oh, that's cool.
You got the
dangerous.
actual keg at
How
the
far
table.
is it, did you say?
No, I said that's dangerous. Pour your own beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
What does it do on the show?
He's, there are people who ask that very question, but, he's really good a lot of the time.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now,
I don't know what for, but
I want to tell you about this. We have a bunch of history.
where did you get this voice? Like when you were born, did you cry with the same voice, or did
I
it
don't know.
develop later on in life?
I genuinely don't know the answer to that
You
question.
haven't had. What's your name? You don't recall a time when you had a different voice?
To see video of me from decades ago, it does seem a little bit different, but there was also kind of the same thing going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how much you know about our history. I'm sure you remember some things.
Well, I remember somebody at my roast
Yeah.
pissing into God knows what, and they had to be thrown out.
Yeah, I was thrown out of the Gene Simmons roast, and
I don't know what you took anything that anybody had and just ingested it.
yeah, that was a tough time in my
And
life.
I think that's you pulling your dick out.
yeah. It was a tough time in my life.
Oh, I see. You're peeing in the Coke bottle or something.
Yeah, it looks like I'm peeing into a soda can, which I then proceeded to
It's
smoke
that small?
marijuana out of. It's a tough one.
Because the pee holes like
That was 2007, and I got clean and sober in 2008. Yeah,
You're talking to a guy that's never been high or drunk
we
or
are
smoked
aware.
cigarettes in my life.
We are aware. But the history goes way back further, and there's no way that you would know any of this. So let me just run through it very quickly. In first grade,
You're a crack addict at first grade?
I went to first grade with a Kiss lunchbox.
I'm so sorry.
And I pride myself on that, because when you're 5, 6 years old,
Did you pay for it or did you steal it?
I am sure that my parents got it for me. They knew that.
Mom and Dad still good?
I lost my mom. My dad's
Oh, I'm
doing
so
great.
sorry.
Oh, that's what happens. That is what happens. Then when I was 11 years old, I was you for Halloween.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. My sister did my makeup. That's me at 11 years old.
Oh, I thought she was doing something with your butt. What's
Yeah,
going
it
on?
does. It does look
Yeah,
that
it
way
looks
too.
like her fist is about either coming out or going in. Am I making it up?
Nope, you're not making that up.
You're allowed to talk.
There's one hidden hand in there.
Yeah. Let's see the end result. How about
That's
that?
good. That's you're on your toes. You're on.
Yeah, it's great. Now,
What is that thing you're holding? Oh,
tennis racket.
Tennis racket. Yeah.
Fashioned into a guitar.
You're not a bad-looking human being. You clean up okay there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now I want you to. I'm curious if you would be familiar with this image. I have a painting on the wall in my house, which it's the 4 Beatles, but the Beatles are all wearing Kiss makeup. Are you familiar with that?
There's a good story behind this. This was 1 block away. It's a very famous graffiti where the Louvre is, Louvre in France, the famous museum. You cross the street and it's on the wall. So that's been there for decades, and people took photos of it and made T-shirts. But yes, I know this.
Yeah, they show the other one. You see, it's right there. That's my kitchen in Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you moved to Tennessee because of the tax situation.
That is
Beneficial
one of the perks.
tax. Is that right?
One of the perks. I also wanted to have a ton of land to open up
Oh,
an
you
animal
can buy-
sanctuary.
You can buy
Acres.
land the size of Wisconsin for 15 cents. Just amazing and gorgeous land.
Gorgeous land.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in love with it. I wasn't even quite prepared for the extent to which I would be in love with it. But yeah, so this is not a rare item. I'm guessing that it's been reproduced many times. Is that something that you would have profit participation in when it's sold?
Unfortunately, not. The street artist and all that who came up with that is somewhere hiding.
Yeah. Okay. Now, some other great history. In 1996,
Maybe it was 1896.
Nope, 1996 at a Kiss concert in
Back again
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
to the dick with the...
Yeah, with the penis, Isaac, already. 1996, there was a Kiss concert in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I might be off. It might have been the beginning of 1997. But I was thrown out of the Kiss concert.
What did you do then?
I smuggled into it a bottle of flammable liquid.
What?
And I did a fire breathing. I blew a big fireball in the stands.
Did you do okay?
Oh, it was massive. I really pride myself on a massive.
This was for Knoxville and all that? Or
No, it was
after?
It was before that.
Is it 97?
Oh, before that.
It was before that. Yeah, this is before I even went to clown college.
Clown College.
Yeah.
You went to Clown College.
I went to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's harder to get into than Harvard.
It was statistically.
I don't know what part of this is.
No, we don't. That's not our style. We tell the truth.
I do know about. I do know the Clown College is in Florida. Is it not?
Sarasota. Yep, there you go, right there. Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey.
That's fabulous, as they say in L.A.
I graduated in the last class of Clown College. They shut it down after me.
Why?
You know what it was that, like, it's true. It was statistically harder to get into Clown College than Harvard. And with the exhaustive auditioning.
I thought you were kidding.
No. They had 2 units of the Ringling Circus. Each unit.
Two eunuchs?
Unit. Yeah, and each one went to 50 different cities, and then they would swap schedules. So the circus every year was in 100 cities, and in all 100 cities they had auditions for Clown College. And after auditioning thousands and thousands of people, only 33 clowns got in to my class.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so that exhaustive auditioning process, they really ultimately, the clowns that did get in were insanely talented, and they were paying $300 and some per week. And making these clowns live in a like 6x3 little closet on a train.
Well, you got me beat, even though it was later when we.
Yeah, there I am on the left. That's me.
So cool. What was the name of your clown?
I was Steve-O the clown.
Okay then.
Yeah. and so I'm interested to ask you about your makeup.
Wait. You're a poor me kind of a story. You were making $300 plus.
But I didn't even get a contract. I was only 10 of the 33 clowns got contracts.
Why? You probably lit them on fire.
I lit a lot of things on fire. Yeah.
Well, hypothetically, if you would have made $300 something a week when we first started in 1804, within a year and a half, we're headlining Anaheim Stadium, and we're there headlining above. Oh, God knows, all kinds of bands you would have known about forever, but we just happened really fast. And meantime, I was on $85 a week salary.
From
we
where?
Didn't care.
From the music industry?
From the band.
From the band?
From the band.
Because any dollar we were making, there it is, Anaheim Stadium. So, yeah, there's a photo. It was massive, sold out, and yet, well, that's a fake bootlegging thing, but that's real. That was on Sunset Boulevard, and they had all kinds of bands opening for us. Oh, there we go. Ted Nugent, Uriah Heep, Bob Seger, all kinds of bands. Montrose, a lot of bands. And right there, the guy on the right-hand side, $85 a week. We didn't care, though. There was such an amazing... the idea that you didn't have to get up at 7 a.m. in the morning to go shave and eat your cornflakes and then get tortured by public transportation and wind up in the same seat in the same office doing the same thing for the rest of your life was such a relief. You just felt like a rock and roll gypsy. Like, this is one of the few ways you can escape and have the time of your life and wake up with a girl whose name you never bothered to learn.
I love it. Now, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that you took an $85 a week salary from the band, and all the rest of the money just went back into the band?
That's right.
right?
All the special effects. It was all self-funded. We didn't borrow anything.
Yeah.
That's right.
And now with the makeup, this is grease paint, I used
Clown.
in clown college. Yeah.
It's clown white
Yep.
and black, Stein's black.
I think
That's all I use.
That sounds like exactly what I use. Can you look up Stein's grease paint?
Whose idea was it for the makeup?
I have to tell you that nobody can actually. Yeah, there it is. Grease paint. That's exactly what it is.
And then when you get done doing it, you lock it.
There it
by
is.
putting baby
That's
powder
one of the
on.
classic ones from my era.
Yeah. Wow.
We
Okay,
d-
that is different than what I used.
Well, it was earlier, probably
Yeah.
20, 30 years before
Yeah.
you were thinking about it. But nobody who was ever in KISS can ever lay claim to saying, I've got a brilliant idea. Everybody should put on makeup. Let's wear higher heels and more makeup than your mommy ever did. Nobody did. It just happened. Scientists call it a singularity. It's kind of when you put a group of people together who have no resume, no experience, never achieved anything. Something happened one day in our rat-infested loft in 1970, early 1973 or late 72. We're rehearsing some pretty good songs and everything. This is after we had a record for Epic called Wicked Lester, but we didn't like it, so we bought the record back, and it never came out. Let's reform the band. Got rid of the original members because they just weren't rock. We were Anglophiles. We loved Zeppelin and the Beatles and the Stones and all that, and Humble Pie. So started writing songs like that, Strutter, Black Diamond, and all that kind of stuff. And then we looked at each other one day, and I can't for the life of me tell you which one of us said, hey, let's go downstairs to Walgreens, which was half a block away, and let's go buy some makeup, put makeup on our faces. Just like that.
Do you remember how many designs you guys went through before you chose?
That's another good question. We brought back mirrors. They were about this tall, about this wide, $15. And a few of them, and put them against the walls that were covered by egg crates to muffle the sound at our rat-infested loft, which had no windows, at 10 East 23rd Street. And we started putting makeup on, and of course the mirrors would warp, so our faces would look all warped. And we had one shot. The makeup that became, this early... That's not in 1983. They don't have a clue what they're talking about. That's 1974 at the top of the Playboy building on Sunset Boulevard. Used to be at that point where the Playmates used to all stay. And that makeup that you see there pretty much is the makeup that we came up with on day one.
Wow.
How was the reception when you guys did your first show with the makeup? Was it just better than ever?
I have to say that I can't recall paying attention to anything because we were all getting off on each other like, wow. instead of most bands that look at their shoes and I'm going to play a major or a minor here and do that, and they're just not aware. We were just getting off on each other. In fact, Ace, before he succumbed to all the chemicals and all the other stuff, our drummer Peter, the original one, had Mylar on his drum kit so that when he kicked it, you'd see the thing rattle and all that. Really cheap, smart ideas. And Ace kept bending over and looking at himself in the drum head, laughing his head off. Just getting off on his own thing.
The joke that I never got to tell because I was kicked out of the roast, I was going to say, man, I thought it was hilarious when... I thought it was funny when KISS took off their makeup, and maybe in the 80s, all of a sudden they did. But man, it was hilarious when they had to put it back on. It was
Pay me again. No problem.
See what I'm saying? It was a funny joke, right? It's like, hey guys, like we're gonna need you to put the makeup back on.
The best part of that joke is when you're too rich to give a fuck. It's all good.
Right. I mean, and I knew that you'd have a great sense of humor about it. And what you just said reminded me of a time when we were filming with David Hasselhoff, filming Wild Boys. We were out on a boat with sharks and stuff.
I was with you and David?
No, you weren't there.
Oh.
But
Then why are you telling me this?
well, David Hasselhoff looked at himself in a mirror. He said, "God, I look like shit, but at least I'm rich."
That's right. But Hasselhoff never looked like shit. Trust me. He could go anywhere in the world and...
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always a piece of ass. He was always
What's that?
good looking. He was always good looking.
Always a good-looking man.
Yeah. So, with respect to looking great, can you tell me about the Polaroid? This is the legend of Gene Simmons. That there are thousands of Polaroid photos of women, the conquests. It's just so fascinating.
What about it?
Well, like the Polaroids is the Polaroid collection.
Is singular.
Well, I said is the Polaroid collection. Is it still intact? Is it
What actually happened was I got serious about finally the first 29 years of Shannon's and my relationship. We were unmarried, and I was doing anything you could imagine somebody who didn't care about anybody else and was completely self-absorbed, arrogant, and where are you going? Where am I going? Who wants to know? That kind of thing.
Right.
Even though we had kids and everything, and Shannon, bless her, never backed away. I would have thrown my sorry ass out in a second. So it was no secret, it was no secret that I was carousing. And then when I decided to come clean and get serious with Shannon, we've been together 41 years, but 29 of the first years we were not married. And when I decided to propose to her, I said, got to put all the cards on the table. Let me tell you exactly what happened and all this stuff. And it wasn't pleasant. I wouldn't trade places with her. And we did us together, we did a public and put it on we had a reality show.
Yeah.
We filmed the burning of the photos.
There we go. Wow.
Yeah, we burned them together. And our show, the Gene Simmons Family Jewels, was 167 episodes in 8 years.
That's I think that's awesome, man. Like you're talking to all three of us. We're addicts.
By the way, how long have you guys been a couple? Whatever.
Like 11 years. How'd you come to that realization that you wanted to do that? I mean, after so long, were you just kind of like, fuck, I really, really...
We were filming in Belize. Belize it or not. A Central American country that most people have never heard of. Actually, quite. Was that me over there with the big pot belly? And I mean, a beautiful location and palm trees and all that stuff. And they call it a singularity. Scientists do this kind of thing that comes over you, a feeling or an event where you don't plan it and it's real. And at 62, I'm turning 75 in August. Fuck, I look good. I had this epiphany. I'm probably going to die alone and a miserable old fuck. And the people that I love and care about the most, our kids especially.
Yeah.
Shannon, who never tortured me about getting married and everything. I don't know if they're going to be here. If I was Shannon, I'd remarry and try to find some happiness, while you're alive, instead of having this arrogant, self-absorbed guy just doing whatever he wants to do and not caring about it. And I found myself, kind of never happened to me before because I'm not an emotional guy. My Uncle George, who was my closest family member, died, and I remember feeling sad, but I didn't cry. And I remember dropping to my knees, not even like real hard dropped instead of slowly laying yourself down, just like a knee drop, and looking up at her, and the cameras happened to be filming us because I was supposed to talk about the sunset and everything. And I'm looking up at her, and she's looking at me, and there's footage of it. And with a shaky voice and all that, just saying, I don't know what, I can't I can't die alone. I can't live without you. All the things I used to make fun of. I can't live, living is without you. And I'd be the guy that'd say, get out of here. Of course we can. There are always other chicks. But at some point in life, it becomes true.
Wow, man.
You are lucky if you find... You're straight, right? You're lucky if you find, as they say, your soulmate. You never think about those things when you're younger, when you're busy, bang, 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 all this stuff, because it doesn't mean anything, and you're having a lot of fun. That's fine. But what does it mean? Do you miss those people? You never miss anybody. You just say, well, that was good then. Tomorrow's another day. I'll have another salad, a donut, and I'll have that piece of ass over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just bang, bang, bang. But when you can't, if you're lucky and you find that soulmate, you don't want to be around anybody else. And I never thought I would ever, this sounds like a completely different guy than I ever expected to be. I think it's called maturity.
Yeah, wow. I believe personally, for what it's worth, that that it's not about finding the right person, but it's about becoming the right person.
Okay.
I believe that I had to do.
These are semantics, but I'm not anti-semantic.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you writing any of this stuff? Can you write?
I can absolutely write, and
I used to teach 6th grade.
Oh yeah! Wow. What
Spanish Harlem.
Spanish
Reading,
Harlem.
writing, and arithmetic. The 3 R's.
Okay, I love it. There was
in
a
Spanish Harlem, where on one of the first days you hear the phrase and you don't really know what it means, and then you find out, Buenos dias, maricón latino judeo, and then you learn it doesn't mean good morning, Jewish person. That's not what it.
Right.
Can you speak a little Spanish?
That means good morning, asshole, right?
Maricón latino judeo.
I think maricón is just kind of a general
what?
disparagement.
Marico pendejo is asshole, right?
Pendejo.
Pendejo, yeah.
Puto, all the delicious
yeah,
words.
Yeah, I know puto.
I bet you do.
Speaking of disparaging terms, I seem to recall...
All of a sudden he's using big words like gymnasium.
Yeah. I seem to recall that in the Motley Crue, their famous book, The Dirt,
yeah.
that Nikki Sixx had less than glowing things to say about you.
Okay.
And I believe that he said something to the effect of Motley Crue would never, ever do a show with Gene Simmons because of all the, whatever it was he had to say about you. And then not that many years later, it was announced that Motley Crue was going to go on tour with Kiss. And I remember thinking, well, that's, a chink in the integrity a little bit.
I don't know if you can say chink anymore, but that's CHINQUE, I think, or is it CHINC?
Chink in the armor.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is it a CHINC?
We got somebody looking it up.
Can we look it up? It's CHINC.
It's with
I'm
a K.
right. No, that's wrong. CHINK
Chink
is
in one's
wrong.
armor.
Right.
Cambridge does say that it's CHINK.
I do have a question.
Well, wait a
in
minute.
there.
But for the record, we took out Motley on their first tour.
Right.
Just because we liked, that first indie album they put out.
Yeah,
But we also took Bon Jovi on their first tour, and AC/DC, and Rush, Cheap Trick, and Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, almost anybody that became a huge band. We took them out on their first tour.
Yeah, these are the bands that literally the first tour.
Yeah.
Man, that's insane.
Well, we like, besides being in a band, we're fans.
Yeah, and if this piece of the Motley Crue, the dirt, wasn't 100% true, that wouldn't be the only piece.
What's true? What was said?
I can't remember. It was just something to the effect of like Nikki Sixx. He's got a way of kind of saying stuff about people.
That's fine. Not everybody likes Jesus either. I have no problem.
Yeah, I love that. But my question is.
By the way, do you know why all the chicks love Jesus?
Why is that?
Well, he's hung like this. Are you writing these down?
I think I've actually heard that one. And
you think this is going to be trouble with the religious?
I don't think so.
Because he's.
How do you like this tattoo I got right here?
I don't like any tattoos I got.
It's Santa Claus on the cross.
Excellent.
Yeah, I like it.
Good luck with that. Do you know that Santa Claus, as we know him, was invented by Coca-Cola?
Oh, I like it.
Why do you ever doubt me? Okay, button, the guy on the computer, would you go up and say on it, no, not who invented, just put in Coca-Cola invents Santa Claus.
Wow.
The version we know, including the, look at it.
Did not.
Hold up, wait.
So
the
Coca-Cola
jolly
did
character
not
we know
create
today.
The legend, but they shaped the jolly character we know today.
Created the entire mythology and the color scheme that we associate the red.
It's the same color as Santa Claus.
Thing. That's the colors of Coke.
Yeah, I read that the first thing that you saw when you came to America was an R.J. Reynolds ad of Santa Claus holding up cigarettes.
True that.
And I was wondering if that was your dad had anything to do with
my dad was a
the
tobacco
R.J.
CEO.
Santa Claus.
My dad actually worked specifically for R.J. Reynolds Tobacco.
The insidiousness of that was that the tobacco companies knew all this stuff. Okay, there you go.
What, they had Santa Claus marketing the
Camel,
cigarettes?
Winston, that's all R.J. Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's became sort of like the good housekeeping seal of approval. The insidiousness of the tobacco companies had them using doctors going, I'm a doctor.
Yeah. Oof. And then
there was
during
a joke
the 80s,
about Prince Albert in a can. What was that joke about?
I don't know. But when the tobacco companies really got kind of outed, it was like the 1980s, and there was no more mystery. Cigarettes definitely cause cancer. They
but that
definitely
doesn't
kill
stop
you.
anybody. Nah.
It scared the tobacco companies enough that the tobacco companies started buying.
Yeah,
up
but
food
that's just because
companies.
they would get taxed and schmaxed and all that stuff. Otherwise, on their own, they wouldn't care. Just like car companies count on a certain number of deaths in cars that are not quite safe enough because it's more expensive, so they leave it in there and they factor in how much the suits and the settlement are going to be versus upgrading the cars so that they're really safe. It's really frightening information, and it's just the nature of stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Well, and have a nice day after this.
Now, I wanted to touch on something that I believe that we have in common.
You're Jewish?
Promoting merchandise is a big part of your thing. Do you get criticized for always trying to sell something to your fans?
Life is business. I don't know how plainer to say it. You walk by the old-fashioned grocery store, and there's an apple cart, and one or set of apples that are $1 each, and next to them is apples for 5 cents. Which one's a better apple?
Wow.
The one you buy.
No, that's not what marketing tells you.
Well, if it's apples and apples,
Marketing
so to
tells
speak.
you it's always the more expensive one. Perception is reality.
Yeah.
So prices of things are just made up on the spot anyway. It's not based on anything except obviously the profit margin. No, but the perception, especially women, who account for 80% of all things sold. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of frightening.
Wow.
So,
Wow, that's crazy.
80%. All right, do you have a girlfriend? Do you live with her?
I do. I have a wife.
Wife. Do you have curtains?
I have curtains.
Who decided?
They were actually there when we got the place.
Okay, tricky Dicky. trying to make a point. You have furniture in the house?
Yes.
Who decided?
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a car?
Yes.
Who decided?
That one was me.
How did you decide?
I just bought it.
She doesn't have a license.
He wanted the same car that both
You're
of us
still
drive.
you're still married.
Yeah.
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 No, almost everything you make, because we don't need a lot. Look at this poor prick over here. Same. When he was 14, he had these socks on.
Yeah.
It's in those photos that you saw.
I'm glad that this is healing for me, Gene, because I get criticized for.
Why do you care, by the way?
It's a really darn good question, you know. But I think I gotta embrace my role as the Gene Simmons of Jackass. I'm the guy always saying, go to stevo.com and buy my merch.
Why wouldn't you do that?
It's a great
Yeah,
question.
you're in the money-making business. This
I
makes
know,
you
yeah.
money.
It's like,
Everybody is. The hippiest hippie band, when they play live, sell tickets.
yeah.
They're in the Kiss business. If you're a church, even God passes the hat around.
Yeah.
Everything is based around money.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was Kiss condoms, right?
Yeah, there still are.
There still are.
They're Kiss condoms. They're Kiss caskets.
Kiss casket.
Yeah,
We'll
I knew,
get
I knew
together.
that one. Yeah.
Wait
yeah,
for
yeah.
the punchline. We'll get you coming and we'll get you going.
Whose idea was the Kiss casket?
Because Steve tried making condoms at one point, right? And
Yeah, but now the condoms would have been fine.
I swear to you, can you go to the Kiss condoms? What I promise you is true, which is my Kiss condom. Okay, go. Wait, you go back to the previous page.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. I'm pointing to it. Can
He's
you see
put
it?
third
Oh,
one- third
wow,
one from
and
the
Make
right.
that
Time.
make that as big as possible. Close in on the yeah. Okay, so the unfurled tongue. I don't know where he's going.
Okay.
Okay, that's good enough. The unfurled Gene Simmons tongue is actually printed on the condom, which was never allowed by the FDA and the FYZ and the PCA and the IOU. But the way we got around it is the printing is on the inside. So the more manly you are, the more you can fill the girth and the thing, the more that tongue unfurls to its full rigor.
that's amazing.
Man, that's epic.
So my face and my tongue have been in more females than
Yeah.
in actual fact.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kiss merch, sorry to cut you off.
Go for
Speaking
it.
of Kiss merch, in the 70s there was a Kiss comic book.
You
And
are
there's-
allowed to speak up.
Okay, in the 70s there was a Kiss comic book, and the rumor is
There continued to be throughout, even to the present day.
okay,
Kiss blood?
Yeah, the Kiss blood, and I'm hoping you say it's true.
Absolutely true. What happened was, I called Stanley Lieber, a member of the tribe. There we go. That's right there on top. And that first 1977 one is 4,200. It's much more because that's used and a little wrinkled, but it's much more today. And I'm the guy that spoke to him about, doing the comic book, because I'm a major comic book geek. Even today, I know more than you'd ever want to know about this stuff. When I was 13, I used to call the office and torture Flo Steinberg, his secretary. Is Stan in? No, Gene, he's not in. Oh, come on, let me speak to him because I got to talk. What do you want to talk to him about? Well, I was thinking, why wouldn't Spider-Man team up with the Hulk to? Okay, I'll let him know. Yeah, but put him on the phone. I just want to talk to him. No, he's got to put out 13 comic books this month. Yeah, I know, but I just want to talk to him for a little while. You know what I was thinking, Flo? Just like that. And she went to the hardware store and had her name imprinted, on a plaque kind of a thing, and bought a rope so that she put that right over her office, and the next time I called, she can hang her Jewish ass on it, and here lies Flo, because this little prick wouldn't stop calling her. So I convinced him that the Kiss comic book should be $1.50 and not a 25-cent comic book. By that time, comic books became 25 cents. And he actually asked me, why would I do that? Less comics will be sold and all this kind of stuff. Because I said, no, you don't understand. Many of our fans actually don't read comic books, and comic books are smaller. They have their own racks. But they do read rock magazines, Rock This and Rock Scene and all this kind of
Circus
stuff.
magazine.
And Circus Magazine. So they have that format, and they have their own racks in the stores. So we want to look like a magazine, but be a comic book and be in that price range. And he turned to me and said, young man, that is genius. I've never heard that put that, but you're completely right. And they started doing larger sized annuals in magazine formats. And so one of our guys in the office, I can't take credit, came up with the idea, hey, why don't we fly up to Boston, Albany, I beg your pardon, Albany, upstate, and draw blood and put it in the ink, the red ink of the comic books, so that our DNA would actually be in the comic books, so that when we become extinct and aliens finally land on this planet, they can literally recreate humanity. You're welcome, Earth.
That's so cool.
So there's footage of Stanley and the rest of us flying up to Albany and drawing blood and pouring it into the red ink. There we go. There's that photo. Yeah. And Stan is looking on like, what are these guys doing? Yeah.
Fantastic. Is there still a business relationship with Marvel?
I thought you were going to say Stan. I was going to give you the sad news.
No, I guess it would be with Disney at this point.
Before Stan passed, I also had the idea of Kiss Meets the X-Men and convinced Stan to write the dialogue for $250 to a story kind of I came up with a writer, and that came out as a $10 comic book, Kiss Meets the X-Men. Do you have that? There you go, on the left, Kiss Nation. Yeah, $10.
How many comic books are you selling at this point? Quite a bit?
The very first Kiss comic book that came out in 1977 as a $1.50 magazine, when the rest of the books were 25 cents, was the largest selling comic book of all time until that time. And then we had a second issue, and then corporate came over and said, well, you know, of course we have to own the contents, you know, whatever. I said, well, you can't own anything. We own the trademarks and everything. You can, it's license it. Yeah. That's right. So for this area, you participate. In no other areas, they said, no, we have to own it. I said, how about if I buy Marvel and you can go pick up some sandwiches for me? Would you like that? Yeah, so it didn't work out. So we left and went to Image Comics, Todd McFarlane. We did 33 issues of Kiss Psycho Circus, which were very successful and very big. And then an album resulted from that, Kiss Psycho Circus. There you go. And there's the first issue. You don't have enough time.
So, am I hearing you correctly that the Marvel Kiss comics were sold, reaching record sales before the conversation happened about how the money was going to be split with Marvel?
I didn't understand the question.
You said that this ownership dispute came after all the sales had happened.
No. The corporate kept torturing us about, well, you know, we have to own the copyright and all this stuff. Well, you can, vis-a-vis the format it takes place in, which is Kiss Comics, and we have a profit participation and all that stuff. But anything above, outside, and beyond, that's not going to happen.
Right, okay. So, they wanted to own Kiss.
Yeah.
Right, that's not going to
And
work.
we were going to have I got a Canadian company, Nelvana, very successful at the time, to do a Kiss animated series. And the company was called Nelvana, and they said, well, you know, because we're a French-Canadian company and you're getting French-Canadian tax incentives, we have to own the thing. I said, no, that's not going to, you can't own anything. I said, well, we have to own it. So I came up with my own show based loosely on that called My Dad, the Rock Star. Can you put that up there, young man? You're pretty good. You spell
He's really good.
My Dad, the Rock Star. And that was sold to, there you go. See, and on the bottom it says executive produced and created by Gene Simmons. See that?
Nice.
I'm kind of a big deal, Steve-O.
So
What is the O stand? What are you, Irish?
no, it doesn't stand for anything.
Okay.
Nothing.
All right.
Yeah. This right here, this cartoon. Now, I remember when I was 12 years old. Big fan of you in the movies. I remember the movie Target. I remember the movie Trick or Treat. It was like, am I missing a bunch of movies?
It was The very first one I did was Runaway.
Oh, Runaway. So that's Runaway is the one I'm thinking was Target, but
No, it's Runaway.
yeah, Runaway. Yeah, okay, I remember it.
Michael Crichton, who was 6'9", who created ER, Jurassic Park, and just a lot of stuff, was actually a surgeon, brain surgeon. He's got a new book that we just bought. At any rate, he wanted a bad guy opposite Tom Selleck, who was making a movie. I'd never met Tom, and I was at the time drilling his assistant, a beautiful girl. So he's looking around, for bad guys, and she says, I know this guy, the guy in Kiss, the guy that sticks his tongue out. He would be great as Luthor, the bad guy. And I was just down the street at the Sunset Marquee, and I get a call, Michael Crichton wants to meet you. So I came in the office and pretended like I didn't know her. Oh, hello, nice to see you. See how smart I am? Look at that fucking thing I got up there. And he came out and he was towering over me. I'm 6'2". He was just like way up there. Says, hello, Mr. Simmons. I'm Michael Crichton. I'm doing this, and I knew who he was. He did the great Train Robbery and just lots of great films. Write him, direct him, does it all. And in essence, he said, stare into my face, look into my eyes, and give me the sense, you're going to have to, that you're going to cut off my head and shit down my neck. That, like, be badass. Without making faces, just in your eyes. So he gave me a few seconds, and he looked into my eyes. I looked into his eyes, and I was thinking of a juicy jelly donut. And he said, you got the job. I don't have a friendly face. I'm aware of that.
Keep scrolling down, Isaac.
Yeah. Depends how often you worship Satan. That's
Trick or Treat. There's that one. Man, what a great one that was. Runaway.
Miami Vice. I was the bad guy on the debut 2-hour special.
God, this filmography
Then there was Wanted.
is
Then there was
fantastic.
Wanted, Dead or Alive, opposite Rutger Hauer,
Yeah.
where I was a bad guy. I'm always a bad guy. The Hitcher was actually an interesting Canadian TV series that. Yeah.
The Hitcher was a Rutger Hauer movie.
Different. You're correct. But before the Hitcher Rutger Hauer movie, there was a series on HBO called The Hitcher, No Relation.
All right. Okay. Now,
Wish You Were Dead. That was an indie film. I forget about The New Guy. I forget about all these movies I was in.
Can I ask you?
No.
Do you have a relationship, a friendship with Craig Gass, the comedian who does such the fantastic impression of you?
I tolerate the prick.
You got to give him. I
want to tell you a very sad story, but also funny. So I'm driving in my car, truck, whatever it was, and I happened to tune into Howard. When it was first coming in, I had not the stereo, the satellite thing.
Sirius XM.
Just as it was starting, and poor Suzanne Summers had, who I knew before, had come down and became very sick, sadly, and she was on Stern to talk about it, and the whole thing was somber, and I was expecting Howard to do what he does and be Howard, and so sorry about the big C. He goes, no, it's okay, I'm dealing with it, and just have do whatever you got to do and enjoy life every day, positivity and all that. And Howard says, excuse me 1 second, we've got a phone call coming in from one of your friends. He wants to wish you well. And you actually hear it, and he goes, put it on the air. And all of a sudden you hear, Suzanne, it's Gene. She goes, oh my goodness, Gene, how are you? Nice to see you. Yeah, haven't seen you in a while. Gee, I heard what happened to you. And she's going, and I'm listening, I'm hearing this, and I hear my voice. And she says, so where are you? Oh, I'm in Beverly Hills and everything. I heard what happened to you. And like, no, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, and I want to send you a gift. Well, she said, that's not necessary or anything. No. Because you're sick, I want to send you
The casket.
a Kiss lunchbox. And after that, my phone was off the hook. Messages, you prick, you motherfucker, you Christ-killing motherfucker. Yeah, I didn't hear the end of it. And I finally cornered him. I said, the hell did you do? People said, you
cornered Howard
of course.
or Craig?
No, what's that? No, Howard, no. Cornered Craig.
Yes. Yeah.
The hell did you do? He goes, what do you mean, what do I do? That's what I do. Everybody knew it wasn't you. I said, nope. No, they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they would want to reveal that it was fake and be pretty clear about that. I was on a radio show one time, and Craig Gass doesn't just do Gene Simmons impersonations.
What?
He he does a really phenomenal
Pacino.
Tom Arnold.
Oh.
Tom Arnold. And so I'm on this radio show.
Tom,
the Mike Calta
nobody
show.
does Tom Arnold, not even Roseanne.
That's the best one so far, Gene. And so we got this call, and he called into the radio, so talking to me on the air as Tom Arnold, just having relapsed.
Oh wow.
Like, man, I'm just not doing good. You know, I'm not doing good. And he took it so far, and he had me like 100% of the way. And that was made clear that it was not real. This upsets me that they did that and had people turn their ire towards you.
You know, things happen, and then you die. That's all you get. That's all there is.
Yeah, wow.
You can't be upset about anything.
I gotta be more like Gene Simmons, man.
Yeah.
I gotta stop
I'm
with the
telling you, the
sensitivity.
secret of life is you have your health, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Your schmeckle works,
Yeah.
and then you die. That's all you get.
That's all there is.
I'm telling you.
But by the way, life without a good schmeckle, you may as well crawl underground.
Yeah. He's got a great schmeckle.
You know, I don't want to. I don't.
That's why I wear shorts.
Does the schmeckle match the tongue, Gene?
It does have a spin and dry cycle, and it can whip up a good goddamn froth. But why the fuck do you want to know?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I don't necessarily.
But
think
right, all that's because that's very clever. A spin and dry cycle, and it can whip up a good goddamn froth. You should say it in that way.
Nice.
Because I have.
Okay,
So-
now, I heard you. I believe.
Your
Correct me
hearing's
if I'm
good?
wrong. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I heard you really, really being a proponent of cryptocurrency.
Oh yes, I've done very well. I bought millions when Bitcoin was around 10,000 and Ethereum was around right around 1,000. That's true. I do own.
Yeah. God.
What do you like about it? Just the idea of a new currency.
Well, here is the sad truth. At some point, the United States government went off the gold standard, which meant, for
72.
people that don't know, the dollar was based in some capacity on the value of gold. Now, by the way, gold is completely useless. It's too soft a metal to do anything with. But we all agreed, similar to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, that this yellow object, they all want me. What's going on? Okay. That this has value because women like it. That's the only reason.
Jewelry.
Yeah, we wouldn't mind it. We wouldn't do anything with it if women didn't care about it. And of course, if we don't curry the favor of women, we don't have new generations.
Yeah.
At any rate, the government then just started printing the dollar. it's $1 trillion here, $1 trillion you need there, and this country needs money and that country needs money, and they just keep rolling it. So now, when Clinton was in charge, not because of him, the confluence, congruence, and other big words, e-commerce happened at the same time. You know, there's the real estate, all was positivity. So the GDP was balanced. There was no debt, literally. Since then, not too long ago, a few decades ago, we're something like $33 trillion.
Not including unfunded liabilities. So it's
very,
actually
very well done. And that means all we're doing is kicking the can down the road, and our children, our grandchildren, are going to have to be paying for this in future dollars,
For sure.
which are going to be worth less and less because inflation keeps going more and more. So when I was a kid, I used to be able to go to see 3 movies and 3 cartoons, 29 cents. Now you can't get blown for less than... I'm sorry. That's not what I meant to say. My Tourette's kicked in. That's my favorite artist, by the way, Tourette's-Lautrec. So, see, like, the brain... I give you gold right here. So, what do you do? Well, you spread the risk. You don't bet on 28 black when you go to Las Vegas. You spread the risk. So if you have ancillary other funding, you don't need money. In other words, they use fancy words, capital and gains. It's bullshit. It's money, profit, money. The funding it's money. So if you're lucky to have your rent paid, or if you own your own house and your bills paid and all that other stuff is play money after insurance and after enough food to eat and take care of your family. The rest is play money. Well, what are you going to do with it? Well, you should probably spread the risk. Real estate, save it for a rainy day, money markets, IRA, the Roth IRA, do some things like that. And then with a certain percentage, play money. So I decided to do research on Bitcoin, I was just starting to hear about it. What the hell is that? So I called up Tyler Winklevoss and asked him, can you please give me a little tutorial or 3-torial? See what I just did there? And he did. He was kind enough to just say, it's a difficult thing to put into words, but only people decide the value of this, not a government agency. And you can't make more than the 22
Satoshis.
No, then there's a certain limit.
21 million Bitcoins in existence.
See, he's talking about Satoshi Nakamoto, this guy, mythical guy who may exist or not, but there's only a certain amount. There you go. Total BT in existence is 19,727,000, blah, blah, blah. How many dollars are there in existence? Literally no end. Infinite. Because they keep making as many as you need. Based on what? So the value of things keeps going down. When I was a kid, you could buy a Volkswagen station, the big wagon for $3,000.
Yeah.
And college students lived in them and stuff. Literally, not even a joke. When I take business people out, lunch is $3,000. They get their champagne, they get their back rub and a hot fudge sundae and a blowjob, and it's $3,000.
That's how you get so many deals done.
That's exactly right. The hot fudge sundae does it every time. So I bought millions of dollars of thing, and plus played around with Litecoin, Filecoin, quite a few others. So about 14 of them. And since then, traded and did well. Dogecoin, I got 300% on that. All the rest of them except Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm what's called a hodler, HODLER. It's fancy, stupid language that the crypto community refuses to change. Just we're different than the rest of you morons. That's really what it's about. It comes from the word hold, HOLD. So instead of hold, they want to spell it HODL.
Yeah.
Steve, they're saying that we have a couple more minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
All I want to know Like, it's
Your legs with the tattoos on, it's very disturbing.
You don't like tattoos.
I didn't see the back.
all I want to know. You've always done your own makeup.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We always have, and all of us always did.
Yeah, I mean, as did I. It would be ridiculous for someone else.
So when
to
you
put on
were
my clown
12
makeup.
or whatever, you put your own makeup
No,
on.
no, that was my sister did that when I was 12. But as a clown, of course, I always did my own makeup.
Yes, clowns do.
Right.
Did you know that clowns also are one of the few areas where you can actually trademark your face?
Yeah.
Real people cannot,
Yep.
by virtue of trademark law, trademark their face.
Yep.
So Johnny Carson or whoever, Tom Jones, whoever, you can't trademark your face because it's
I kind of think
generic.
you don't have to, though.
Excuse me?
I don't think you have to trademark your face. Your name and likeness is something that you have the rights to.
You get nowhere near as much protection because even
Yeah, when someone
Trying-
takes a photo, the person who took the photo owns it.
yes,
Yeah, so that is a problem. How long does it take you to do the kiss makeup?
mine has always taken the longest, about 2 hours.
No way. Really?
Yeah, because there were different layers of it. First, I put on the white, then I draw and there are tutorials. I showed everybody. My daughter was asked by Cosmopolitan, how does your dad put on makeup? So you can go, button pusher? Can you go to Cosmopolitan, Gene Simmons, Sophie Simmons? There it is. So you can look at a tutorial from step 1 where I show everybody. She goes, hi, my dad is weird. How about yours? And
So really 2 hours every time.
yeah, so I show you put a layer first and then outline the makeup, which is all filled with white. Then you got to take the white off.
Yeah, with
Then you
Q-tip.
got to powder it on.
Yeah.
And then you got to take a wet noodle. No, a wet, what is it? Those falsies that take them out instead.
Sponge.
Sponge, that's it. That's what falsies are, right? They're sponges. So you dip it in water and kind of like bake in the areas, and then you got to fill in the black inside the makeup. Then you got to powder that, take off the powder, then water that again, then reapply the black on top of the black. Mine always took the longest. Paul was always the fastest
That makes sense.
because he had 1 star. By the way, originally it was supposed to be 2 stars, and he was afraid he wouldn't be able to match the stars. And also he said because he was lazy, so he settled on 1 star and his mom's shade of red lipstick. I don't know, but he decided on red lipstick.
And 2 hours, man. That's just that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So every show, man. Now you only tour with the Gene Simmons Band?
Yes, Gene Simmons Band is already headlined. Oh, goodness, we were in South America, Sao Paulo. We say San Paulo, but it's wrong. If you put in Gene Simmons Band, Sao Paulo, you'll see footage and schmootage and all that. There we go.
Yeah. That's great. So,
See
so
where the
that,
videos are?
there's a...
So we're going to Europe to headline festivals and other stuff, and just having a lot of fun. By the way, I designed a business model that is just semi-genius. I show up with my guitar pick. That's it. There's no manager, no roadies, no trucks, no equipment. Everything is provided by the promoter. The flights, the hotels, all the amplifiers,
What's the
drums.
promoter?
It's all, everything is rented locally. That's the promoter's cost, and whatever 6-figure or more amount there is, I pocket. I hate that when that happens.
That's fantastic.
And I literally make more money per gig being Gene Simmons in the Gene Simmons Band than I did in Kiss.
Wow.
Not counting the ancillaries and all that. Because you don't have 60-man crew,
Yeah.
3 double-deckers, private jet that's on call 7 days a week, and 20 to 24 tractor trailers.
Man,
To carry all the condoms.
And to take off
You
your
shouldn't start something you're not going to finish, big boy.
to take off your grease paint. What do you use, or what did you use?
It used to be Pond's cream, you know, the thing that chicks put on their face. It's all nonsense. Just use soap and water. But, you know, the moisturizer and schmoisturizer, all that other stuff. Yeah, there you go. Pond's.
In clown college, they taught us to use baby oil to take off
Yeah.
our grease paint. But I
it-
found shampoo works way
So I
better.
got rid of that and used this much later on. Found this alcohol-based thing which dissolved the stuff pretty fast. You just mush it in and then use soap and water and it's gone.
Yeah. All right. Well, we
I
gotta
have
wrap it
I have
up.
one last question.
Okay, there
I
you
never
go.
touched her.
So, so we had Sebastian Bach on the podcast a while back.
Oh my God.
And he invited us into his house, and he showed us his
He
very
invited you
impressive
to my house?
to his house.
His house.
Yes, and he showed us his very impressive Kiss collection
Yep.
of memorabilia. Do you collect anything the way people collect your memorabilia?
Yes, I may have the largest collection. Have been
Of
collecting.
Polaroids.
By the way, I just from a good person to another person. The photos I have of you with farm animals, I will never.
Good. Appreciate it.
I will never, because these things are squirming. And, I will never. You see your glasses fog up and.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
She's
And
been.
you just, you know, the legs are. The part is when you're.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain because I know you're
get it.
slow. Yeah. I forgot what I was going to
Comic.
say.
You have a big
collection.
collection.
Yes, so
He likes to collect money.
licensing and merchandising, and no, you have to do something with money. Collecting it, inflation is like the
Right. Yeah.
piranhas eating away
Right.
at it. You can't. Still waters get rotten. You got to keep the money moving, otherwise it gets depleted slowly, but still nonetheless. So I kept buying and selling houses. We have 5 or 6 houses, Vancouver, Malibu Mountain, just all over the place. And as I was getting rid of the this big monster that I had on Benedict Canyon in Beverly Hills, where the collection was. I don't think you were ever up there, right?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. You
Well,
wouldn't
I
remember?
definitely was not. Yeah, I definitely was not. You're right. That was misleading.
What's your name?
Stephen with a PH.
So, took all that stuff, and it's at the Rio Hotel. You can go there. It's called Kiss World. It'll blow your mind, like nothing you've ever seen. Nobody, but I mean nobody other than Disney has that amount. Over 10,000. Yeah, go to Kiss World, Las Vegas, and images. Keep going.
You let them borrow it, or they bought it from you, or you licensed it?
No, it's all mine.
How often are the KISS conventions? Are they still happening?
Oh, yeah, around the world. See, that's the entrance way. There's red carpet. Those are all my gold and platinum records, hundreds and hundreds. Can you put in Gene Simmons collection at Kiss World? Gene Simmons collection, Kiss World. Yeah, that'll come up. Yeah, these photos are way. So it goes way, way back. There's over 10,000 items in there, easy.
That's epic. I
Yeah.
think that when Vinny asked, he was asking, like, do you collect any other people's shit? And you're like, nah, dude, I collect my own shit. Which is just completely epic.
Well, you have an inferred duty, inferred fiduciary duty, otherwise, all kinds of other words, but to thine own self be true. Be your own biggest fan.
Oh, my God. Can I show you?
Oh, wait, I'm straight. I just saw the crack of his ass. Is that you or Pee-wee?
That is me, Gene.
See, that's not funny to me at all.
Okay, good.
No, it's so impressive.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you.
Well, it takes a leap of faith to say, no, I am somebody.
Yeah.
Also, when somebody's plugging your asshole, they know, oh, it's this guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
a reminder, which one is, oh, it's like, but
Yeah.
who else would be on your body?
Very, very few people.
It doesn't, other people don't matter.
Yeah.
The greats of all time, I don't know if you know Tyson, I consider him a friend. When you have a point of view about yourself, it's not about logic.
It's about delusion.
You have to have the loose screw, because if you took a look at, never mind making fun of the voice, his arms were too short. He was too short. He was not a heavy guy. He was nowhere near a heavyweight. He decided before he walked the tightrope that he was not going to fall off, the way all champions do. They psych themselves, I'm going to get it, I'm going to do it. And most people just say, I don't know if I could do it, because it's like, never mind, you will, you're contributing to your own demise. So purely by force of will, he became Mike Tyson. Of course, there's hard work and all that. Why would I show up and start talking about somebody else? I'm so fascinating. Look at how they misspelled my name.
Yeah,
Steve.
I love it. All right, we got to wrap it up, Gene. I knew this was going to be a blast.
Can I just tell you that it was a pleasure to talk to me?
I concur. And I got
Most impressive thing about this is this.
Thank you.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 28, I think.
But still, you were in the haze at that time. Yeah. You don't need that.
I don't need it.
I could understand. By the way, I'm not here to bury. No, that's another story. By the way, you notice how my hand doesn't shake.
Yeah.
You can be 75, and if you don't use this stuff, you won't have to. Try running a car by pouring sand in it. It's not going to work. I would understand if drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and all that make your schmeckle bigger, you got richer, you ran faster, kept you trim, better looking and all that. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
You don't get more chicks, you don't make more money, you don't get more fame. Nothing happens.
Yep. And in our cases, actually, bad things happen. So
I didn't even want to go there. I'm just talking about the glass half full.
yeah.
You could almost understand the bodybuilders, and I don't support it, go, yeah, if I take this, what is it called? Steroids. Yeah. Then I'll get bigger muscles. By the way, your cock shrinks when you do that. It's it's not even a joke.
Yeah.
I know that firsthand because it doesn't fill my mouth when all that. See, that was a visual. But that's actual fact. As these guys get bigger, their schmeckles get smaller. Why would you do that?
Right.
I just wanted to leave you on that note.
Right.
Great.
Hey, man.
Love it.
Dude, I love it. I love you, Gene.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Fantastic. And there you have it, folks. He's known as the Demon, Gene Simmons from Kiss. What can you say about him? He's very unapologetic in his whole approach to life. And I think I could stand to be more like Gene Simmons. You know, I've been all like self-conscious about people complaining that I promote my merch too much. I haven't even been promoting my merch. And I think Gene Simmons might have helped me shake that off. Plus, check this out. Like, with my hot sauce, we wanted to be able to maybe grow the business, and with the word butthole, that's like not like necessarily helpful. So we created new labels where it doesn't have the word butthole. And we might be phasing out the word butthole, but there's still some left on Amazon, and they might be the last ones ever. So if you want to get Steve-O's hot sauce for your butthole, go to Amazon, man. And if you want to just have hot sauce, it's the same exact hot sauce. And it's awesome. Plus, we have jalapeno now. Steve-O's Heavenly Jalapeno hot sauce. And there you go. I just unapologetically promoted that because Gene Simmons gave me the confidence. I love you for sticking around to the end. Thank you so, so much.